Chapter 814. A new emperor has been born in the foreign realm. Jun Xiaoyao was silent. His pitch-black hair slightly covered his deep eyes. No one knew what Jun Xiaoyao was thinking at that moment. However, when he thought about the disappearance of Jun Wuhui's aura and the possibility that a new emperor had been born in the foreign realm, even a fool would know that there must be a connection between the two. Xiaoyao, brother Xiaoyao, Jiang Luoli, and Jiang Xingyi walked up to Jun Xiaoyao, one on the left and the other on the right. Their expressions were full of worry and pity. Jun Xiaoyao had never seen his father with his own eyes. He finally heard news about Jun Wuhui, but it turned out to be like this. If it were anyone else, they would find it hard to accept. Jiang Xingyi was a little worried, and Jiang Luoli's eyes were slightly red. "It's okay." Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand indifferently. His face was expressionless, and his eyes were as deep as the sea under the night sky. As expected of the young master, such a temperament. War God Barbarian also had a hint of admiration in his heart. Jun Xiaoyao's performance was not because he did not care about Jun Wuhui, but because he could control his own mentality and emotions. Temperament was more important than any talent or cultivation. "Young master, don't worry. Audiobook thinks that the Lord's aura has only disappeared and that there is no real accident." Audiobook also went up to comfort him. "Yes, young master. Not to mention that the Lord's strength is unfathomable. Even if there is an accident, it is just one of the 3 pure ones," War God Barbarian said. The reason why he wasn't too worried was that Jun Wuhui, who was in the alien realm, was just one of the clones of the Yi Qi turning San Qing. Even if there was an accident, it would not cause any fatal damage to Jun Wuhui. "I understand. Thank you for passing the message, Senior." Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hands and said, "I didn't return from the border just to deliver a message to the young master." Master had previously said that whenever he disappears, that would be the beginning of the foreign side's restlessness. What follows might be great waves, the curtains of a great world of chaos being drawn. That's why I have to go back to the Jun family and report some things so that the Jun family can prepare countermeasures and plans, the barbarian god of war said. Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hands solemnly. "All right, then I'll have to trouble Senior. If it wasn't for War God Barbarian, he wouldn't have known about this. Then take care of yourself, young master." "All right, when master is free, he often looks in a certain direction alone. That's the direction of the Jun family of the Emperor's State." War God Barbarian cupped his hands towards Jun Xiaoyao and left. These words made Jiang Luoli, Jiang Xingyi, and the other women present feel a faint sadness in their hearts, and their eyes reddened. Heroes also had tender feelings. How could Jun Wuhui not care about his wife and children? However, he had more important things to do. It was very difficult to not let down the people and his wife. Even someone as powerful as the Emperor of No End couldn't do both. Jun Xiaoyao clasped his hands behind his back and left alone. "Xiaoyao!" Jiang Xingyi shouted. "Don't come over. Let me be alone for a while." Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. Jiang Xingyi and Jiang Luoli both felt bitter in their hearts. Audiobook sighed slightly and said, "You don't have to worry too much. I believe in young master. Xiaoyao is too tired." Jiang Xingyi's voice was filled with pity. The world only saw Jun Xiaoyao's endless glory, sweeping the ancient road and shining brightly. However, they didn't see the loneliness and pressure in his heart. He was fighting against the heavens alone. There was also the sentence he left behind when he walked the ancient road alone. "When I become an immortal, I dare to ask the sun and the moon to change the sky." The goal that Jun Xiaoyao had set for himself was simply too high. It was so high that ordinary elites didn't even dare to think about it. When a person's heart was proud and stood at the peak, what he experienced was not only invincibility, but also loneliness. The strong were always lonely. This was also the reason why Jiang Xingyi worked so hard to cultivate. She hoped that she could become a ball of fire and warm Jun Xiaoyao's lonely and cold heart. For 10 days, Jun Xiaoyao stayed in an ancient cave. He didn't cultivate, didn't read the Book of Life, and didn't do anything. He just emptied his mind and didn't think or do anything. Jun Xiaoyao understood that the state of mind was more important than anything else. I'm still too weak. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. If the other elites heard this, they would definitely cry out. Jun Xiaoyao was an oversight man. If he was still weak, then wouldn't the other elites of this era be so ashamed that they would commit suicide? Jun Xiaoyao was still very young. He was only in his 20s. He was the only one in history to have such strength at such a young age. Now, who below the supremacy stage could deal with Jun Xiaoyao? Xiaoyao, can I come in? Jiang Xingyi's gentle voice came from outside the ancient cave. For 10 days, Jun Xiaoyao had been in the ancient cave. They were a little worried. Jiang Luoli was very distressed and didn't know how to comfort him. So Jiang Xingyi came to check. Sister Xingyi, come in, Jun Xiaoyao said. Jiang Xingyi came in and saw Jun Xiaoyao sitting cross-legged on the ground. He was as quiet as a virgin, like a handsome god. Jun Xiaoyao did not look as dejected or disappointed as he had expected. Why, Sister Xingyi, do you think I'm hiding here alone and crying? Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Jiang Xingyi breathed a sigh of relief. Jun Xiaoyao was still able to joke, which meant that he wasn't affected too much. We're all very worried about you, Jiang Xingyi said. I'm fine. I just want to stop and rest occasionally. After that, I still have to continue on my way to the ultimate trial ground, Jun Xiaoyao said. Jiang Xingyi's clear eyes fixed on Jun Xiaoyao, and then suddenly knelt down beside Jun Xiaoyao. If you want to rest, then lie down. Jiang Xingyi patted her thigh with her jade-like hand. Jun Xiaoyao was stunned for a moment, then smiled and didn't stand on ceremony. He directly lay down and rested his head on Jiang Xingyi's soft and plump thighs. The touch was wonderful. She was a peerless goddess admired by countless male cultivators on the ancient road. At this moment, who could refuse her? Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who deserved such treatment. To be honest, I'm actually a salted fish. I don't want to be a hero like father. What does the common people have to do with me? As long as the people around me are safe and happy, it's fine, Jun Xiaoyao said. This idea might be selfish. But Jun Xiaoyao was indeed such a person. He couldn't sacrifice himself for the common people who had nothing to do with him. Xiaoyao, heroes don't create the times, but the times create heroes. In this era of great strife, someone is destined to stand up and suppress all enemies. And that person is you, Xiaoyao. You are destined to be a hero. Jiang Xingyi's words were faint. She stretched out her hand and stroked Jun Xiaoyao's handsome side profile. There was a complicated look in her beautiful eyes. In fact, not all women wanted their beloved to be a peerless hero, because heroes had to bleed and sacrifice many things. And she couldn't bear to. Ha, hero? Jun Xiaoyao said. He inexplicably remembered a very famous sentence in his previous life. The greater the power, the greater the responsibility. Perhaps Jun Wuhui had such a belief. Otherwise, he wouldn't have written in the amulet that he left for Jun Xiaoyao. A gentleman has no regrets in his life. Thank you, Sister Xingyi. I suddenly feel much better. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Although there was nothing wrong with his mentality, chatting with Jiang Xingyi calmed his heart. Jiang Xingyi had that kind of ability. She was like a gentle and amiable big sister next door. She was intellectual, mature, and beautiful. By the way, I said before that when we finish the ancient ultimate road, I will give you a promise. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly thought of this. Unexpectedly, Jiang Xingyi stretched out a finger and sealed Jun Xiaoyao's lips. Xiaoyao, there's no need to say anything. I know you still have a long way to go, especially after learning about your father, Jiang Xingyi said considerately. After learning about Jun Wuhui's situation, Jun Xiaoyao naturally felt more pressure. He wanted to cultivate and become stronger. He didn't have any extra time or energy to think about love. But Jun Xiaoyao wanted to say something, but stopped. It doesn't matter. Let me wait 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, or 10,000 years. It doesn't matter. As long as the person in the end is you, it's fine. Jiang Xingyi smiled gently. Her smile was peerlessly beautiful. Her words were very straightforward, almost no different from confession. After experiencing so much, Jiang Xingyi also recognized her own heart. In this life, she only had Jun Xiaoyao. Since she had already made up her mind, Why should she care about so many disturbances? Hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao fell silent for a moment. Then, he suddenly straightened his body. Under Jiang Xingyi's extremely surprised gaze, he kissed her red lips. Xiaoyao, Before Jiang Xingyi could finish her words, her lips were sealed. She couldn't calm down, and her heart was in turmoil. She didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to do this. One had to know that Jun Xiaoyao's personality had always been cold and indifferent, like the white moonlight. He was extremely indifferent when it came to matters of the heart. He didn't pursue anything and just let nature take its course. Countless women liked Jun Xiaoyao, and he never lacked women by his side. But none of them could get the slightest response from Jun Xiaoyao. But now, Jun Xiaoyao actually took the initiative. This was the first time something like this had ever happened. Jiang Xingyi's beautiful eyes sparkled. Those were tears of joy. She didn't think about anything else. She closed her beautiful eyes, and her eyelashes trembled slightly. She was intoxicated by the gentleness. She opened her mouth slightly and exhaled a lilac fragrance, enthusiastically responding to Jun Xiaoyao. Amidst this warm silence, a voice rang out. A clear voice, like an oriole leaving the valley, sounded. "Sister Xingyi, brother Xiaoyao, someone outside is looking for you," Jiang Luoli shouted. As soon as she entered the ancient cave, she saw the two kissing. Chapter 8:15. Jiang Luoli stopped in her tracks, and her big eyes seemed to have frozen. She was at a loss as to what to do. She stood there, her mind buzzing and blank. She didn't know what expression to show on her delicate little face. Luoli, Jiang Xingyi was a little flustered as she separated from Jun Xiaoyao. Although she had already recognized her own heart, she couldn't be intimate with Jun Xiaoyao in front of Jiang Luoli without any scruples. After all, Jiang Luoli was the first to say that she wanted to be Jun Xiaoyao's wife. She was also Jiang Rou's daughter-in-law. At that time, the Jiang family even wanted Jiang Xingyi to be a matchmaker. Of course, even the matchmaker had been abducted by Jun Xiaoyao now. Jiang Xingyi was a little embarrassed. She could ignore the outside world's comments and the fact that she wasn't related to Jun Xiaoyao by blood. But she only felt guilty towards Jiang Luoli. In the end, it was all because she had feelings for Jun Xiaoyao that she shouldn't have. "Luoli, what's the matter?" Jun Xiaoyao was very calm and composed. To him, this was a matter of nature. Everything was done according to his heart. If he wanted to do it, he would do it. If he had to think for a long time before kissing a woman, what would that be? Oh, it seems that the people from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground are here. Jiang Luoli stammered as she answered, a forced smile on her little face. Then let's go take a look. Jun Xiaoyao got up and walked out of the ancient cave. Jiang Xingyi also got up and looked at Jiang Luoli. Luoli, unexpectedly, Jiang Luoli shook her little head hard, her twin ponytails swaying. "Sister Xingyi, don't say anything. Thank you for caring about my safety before, and thank you for caring about Brother Xiaoyao. Brother Xiaoyao should need someone as gentle as Sister Xingyi now." Jiang Luoli smiled brightly. Jiang Xingyi was stunned. She really felt that Jiang Luoli seemed to have grown up and become more sensible. She was so sensible that it made one's heart ache. However, Luoli won't let go either. Let's call it even this time. Jiang Luoli clasped her hands behind her back and turned around. Then, she looked back with a smile and walked out of the ancient cave. Even? Jiang Xingyi was puzzled. He didn't know what that meant. Naturally, she didn't know that Jiang Luoli had asked Jun Xiaoyao for a reward and kissed him when they were in the primordial spirit world inside the life and death door. Sigh. Luoli, who can you hide your thoughts from? Looking at Jiang Luoli's bouncing back, Jiang Xingyi sighed slightly. She had watched Jiang Luoli grow up, so she naturally knew her well. Although Jiang Luoli smiled, she didn't seem to care. However, she was probably a little jealous. After all, as long as one was a woman, who wouldn't mind? Although in this world, it was normal for the strong to have 3 wives and 4 concubines, and even 3,000 beauties. However, which woman didn't want to take only 1 out of 3,000? Luoli, I won't let go either. Jiang Xingyi muttered to herself. She could give anything to Jiang Luoli. Only Jun Xiaoyao. She wouldn't let go. Outside, a beautiful woman in a palace gown stood in the sky. She had restrained her aura, but just by looking at her appearance, one could tell that she was definitely a superior supreme. Jun Xiaoyao walked out with his hands behind his back, his clothes as white as snow. He saw the beautiful woman at a glance. On the other side, seeing Jun Xiaoyao leave the cave, Ajiu also went forward. "Young master, you're finally out," Ajiu said with concern in her eyes. "Sorry for making you worry." Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. "Young master, it's good that you're fine." Ajiu nodded slightly. She wasn't good at comforting people, but she was good at silently protecting them. "Senior, you are." Jun Xiaoyao looked at the beautiful woman in the sky. Seeing this, the beautiful woman didn't dare to put on any airs and descended from the sky. "The famous son of God of the Jun family. Today, I see that you live up to your reputation. I am an elder of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground." The beautiful woman smiled kindly. "Jade Lake Sacred Ground?" Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. Wasn't this the force that the Queen Mother of the West passed down? Although there had been some turmoil and disasters, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground had been passed down. "Actually, I came today for her." The beautiful woman looked behind Jun Xiaoyao. Jiang Xingyi and Jiang Luoli came out. "Since you can inherit the Queen Mother of the West, you are the saintess of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground." The beautiful woman smiled gently at Jiang Xingyi. "The saintess of the Jade Lake?" Jiang Xingyi tilted her head slightly. At this moment, an illusory figure in plain clothes appeared. It was a mature and beautiful woman with picturesque features and a hint of majesty. She had a voluptuous figure and a charming, mature charm. She was Jiang Xingyi's elder sister, Yu Qingning. "You are the ancestor?" The beautiful woman took a closer look. She found that Yu Qingning looked exactly like one of the ancient sect leaders of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. She was shocked and hurriedly bowed. Yu Qingning didn't care about the beautiful woman. Instead, she sent a voice transmission to Jiang Xingyi. "Good disciple, you are showing off your love in front of me." "Master," Jiang Xingyi blushed when she heard that. Her beauty was beyond compare. She didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao would make a surprise attack. He didn't notice Yu Qingning at all. As the sect leader of the Jade Lake, Yu Qingning had dedicated her life to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Therefore, she had never had a cultivation partner in her life. Today, she was stuffed with a mouthful of dog food and envied her disciple's sweet love. Then, the beautiful woman told her the purpose of her visit. Jiang Xingyi had inherited the Queen Mother of the West and was now Yu Qingning's disciple. She was the most qualified person to become the saintess of the Jade Lake. In addition, Jiang Xingyi was the goddess of the Jiang family and had a close relationship with Jun Xiaoyao. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground naturally wanted to rope in Jiang Xingyi. It was also a disguised form of roping in Jun Xiaoyao. "Xingyi, I still suggest that you make a trip to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. You have a complete Jade Lake Sacred Ground and a 9-orifice stone embryo that you haven't absorbed and refined. You can do all these in the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. There's also a Jade Lake in the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. It's convenient for you to cultivate." Yu Qingning said. "That's right. If Miss Jiang agrees, you can use all the resources of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground," the beautiful woman said. Jiang Xingyi bit her red lips and secretly glanced at Jun Xiaoyao from the corner of her eye. To be honest, she really didn't want to be separated from Jun Xiaoyao again. However, she also wanted to continue to become stronger and hoped that she could share some of the pressure for Jun Xiaoyao in the future. "Sister Xingyi, you can go if you need. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground is more suitable for your cultivation development," Jun Xiaoyao said with a faint smile. "Okay, I understand." Jiang Xingyi nodded slightly. Although she was reluctant, she wouldn't always stay by Jun Xiaoyao's side. They hadn't finished their respective cultivation paths yet. Jun Xiaoyao still had to participate in the ultimate trial. "That's great." The beautiful woman smiled. The current Jade Lake Sacred Ground had been passed down, but after all, it had gone through turmoil and disasters. It was no longer as prosperous and glorious as it was in the ancient times. Now that Jiang Xingyi could join and become the saintess of the Jade Lake, coupled with the relationship with Jun Xiaoyao, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground might regain its ancient glory. Chapter 8:16. Jiang Xingyi left. Yu Qingning and Princess Divine Silkworm were with her. Jiang Xingyi knew that this trip to the Jade Lake's sacred ground would be of great help to her cultivation. Moreover, she had the Jade Lake Immortal Sutra and could help the Jade Lake sacred ground rise again. It was even possible that Jiang Xingyi would become the new leader of the Jade Lake sacred ground in the future. After all, she was the disciple of the ancient leader, Yu Qingning. Although Jiang Xingyi was reluctant to part with him, she left very decisively. She didn't drag things out and didn't cry at all. She was also an independent and strong woman. She would not stay by Jun Xiaoyao's side. Separation was for the sake of a longer time. Hey, Brother Xiaoyao, are you dumbfounded? She's gone. Jiang Luoli deliberately joked and waved her little hand in front of Jun Xiaoyao. No, I've rested for so long. It's time for me to cultivate. Jun Xiaoyao smiled in relief. He was not the kind of person who indulged in love. Moreover, the news of Jun Wuhui and the new foreign emperor also brought a lot of pressure to Jun Xiaoyao. He needed to improve quickly. And the greatest opportunity after that was the ultimate trial at the end of the ancient road. Jun Xiaoyao also needed to prepare well. Next, he prepared to go into seclusion for a period of time to cultivate the life book. He also needed to transfer the spring of life to the inner verse. But before that, Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Ajio. He suddenly said, Ajio, you can move freely. You don't have to protect me in secret. Ajio's eyes flashed slightly when he heard this. Young master, why? With Ajio's talent, if you hadn't been secretly following me, your current realm should be higher than the lesser heavenly venerable realm, Jun Xiaoyao said. Ajio had sacrificed too much of his time to be his protector. Ajio doesn't mind, Ajio said. She had followed Jun Wuhui and was from the same era as Jun Wuhui. Although she looked beautiful, her eyes were filled with the vicissitudes of time. It also showed her age. She was much older than Jiang Xingyi and Jiang Luoli. However, the passage of time did not diminish Ajio's elegance. Instead, it made her feel more mature and steady, as if she had seen through the world. This was a special charm that neither Jiang Xingyi nor Jiang Luoli had. You don't mind, but I can't hold you back, Jun Xiaoyao said. After a moment of silence, Ajio nodded and said, All right, since it is young master's words, then Ajio will naturally comply. Ajio turned around and wanted to leave. Wait, Jun Xiaoyao said. Ajio stopped in her tracks. Thank you for all this time. Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hands at Ajio. His tone was extremely sincere. He thanked her from the bottom of his heart. Are you just cupping your hands and thanking me? Ajio's lips suddenly curled into a faint smile. Jun Xiaoyao was stunned. He looked at the woman in front of him. Her hair was like a waterfall, and her face was so beautiful that it was like a dream. He stepped forward and hugged her gently. Ajio's delicate body also trembled, and a trace of ripples appeared in her beautiful eyes. She was just joking around, and she never expected Jun Xiaoyao to do something like that. However, Ajio did not resist. She also gently hugged Jun Xiaoyao. It was a simple and warm hug. Ajio, you protected me before. From now on, I will protect you forever, Jun Xiaoyao whispered in Ajio's ear. A beautiful smile appeared on Ajio's dreamy face. Thank you, young master. In the end, Ajio also left. She had also embarked on her own path of cultivation, at least before Jun Xiaoyao completely grew into a powerhouse. Ajio still wanted to improve and continue to silently protect Jun Xiaoyao. Looking at Ajio's departing figure, Jun Xiaoyao sighed softly. At this moment, he felt a resentful gaze staring at him from behind. Jun Xiaoyao turned around and saw Jiang Luoli pouting. Brother Xiaoyao, you scumbag. Jiang Luoli glared at Jun Xiaoyao. Jiang Xingyi had just left, and he hugged another woman. Wasn't this proof that he was a scumbag? Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. It was just a thank you hug. There was no other meaning. After that, Jiang Luoli was also about to leave. Of course, it wasn't because she was angry at Jun Xiaoyao. It was because she had her own path to walk, especially after obtaining the broken primordial spirit world. Next, Jiang Luoli would look for other opportunities to repair the primordial spirit world and then completely refine it. She had transformed into the primordial spirit immortal body. If she could completely refine the primordial spirit world, her cultivation would definitely skyrocket. In the end, I'm the only one left. Jun Xiaoyao sighed softly. Other than Princess Longji, who was receiving the nine-fingered sage dragon emperor's inheritance, he was the only one left. But this is good too. I have to go into seclusion and plan for the next step, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Dealing with the 7 defiant kings, the ultimate trial, and seizing the tree of world. These were all things that Jun Xiaoyao needed to think about and plan for. I can't lose to the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were clear. Now, for the 7 defiant kings were confirmed. Ling Yin, Gu Tizi, Long Yao and Xian Yu. No, there should be more than 4. A profound look flashed in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Next, Jun Xiaoyao also went into seclusion and began to comprehend the life book. At the same time, he prepared to move the spring of life into the inner verse. The entire buried Emperor Star fell into silence. However, from time to time, there were still rumors that some geniuses had obtained opportunities and soared into the sky. And news about Jun Xiaoyao caused an uproar in the entire ancient road. This battle between the sacred body and the overlord was undoubtedly a battle that would be engraved in history. Of course, this battle was a classic, not because the two of them fought so fiercely and were locked in a stalemate. On the contrary, it was because the battle was too simple. Jun Xiaoyao used his Dharma body to humiliate and watch the show. In the end, his real body made a strong move and won the battle. Many people called this battle a classic example of humiliating others. It was said that after this battle, there was a trend among the young geniuses to cultivate their Dharma bodies. Everyone wanted to use their Dharma bodies to humiliate others. In the end, they discovered that their Dharma bodies were so *king weak. Are you guys out of your minds? The Jun family son of God's real body strength is obvious. Even if his Dharma body only has 1/10 of his strength, it's enough to crush many forbidden characters. All of your real bodies are as weak as chickens. Do you want to learn from the Son of God and use your Dharma bodies to suppress others and show off? A genius pointed out ruthlessly. However, just as the news of the battle between the sacred body and the overlord was spreading like wildfire, another piece of news gradually began to brew and boil over. That was, the battle between the Supreme Xianting's young emperor seemed to be coming to an end. All the geniuses on the ancient road were attracted by this news and paid close attention to it. The reason was very simple. It was because the Xianting's young emperor was qualified to become the ruler of the Xianting. When the Xianting's young emperor was confirmed, many people were guessing whether the Supreme Xianting, which had already fallen apart, would be reformed again. The Xianting's young emperor was undoubtedly the core symbolic existence, while the outside world was paying close attention to it, in another vast space unknown to others. This space was full of spiritual chi and overflowing with immortal light. Countless stone steels stood in the space, forming a stone forest. Many of the stone steels were engraved with forbidden inheritances. These were the inheritances left behind by the ancestors of the Xianting. There were many monarch-level inheritances that were not inferior to the inheritances on the buried Emperor Star. This space was the location of the Xianting's young emperor competition, the Immortal Steel Forest. It was a colossus that once ruled the 9 heavens immortal realm. The Supreme Xianting had many great monarchs. Therefore, there were naturally many inheritances left behind. Many people believed that apart from the Jun family, which had a long history and no one knew the exact details, the Supreme Xianting had one of the best martial monarchs in the 9 heavens immortal realm. Meanwhile, at the core of the immortal steel forest, a blinding light shone brightly in all directions. Amidst the boundless light, an illusory throne could be vaguely seen. That throne was filled with a supreme aura, and dense immortal light lingered around it. An aura that was even stronger than the monarch aura spread across the place. The Heaven Monarch throne. It was the supreme symbol of the Xianting, the supreme object that suppressed the entire nine heavens immortal realm. The reason being that it was not a monarch weapon, but a real immortal weapon. Chapter 817. Since the supreme Xian was able to unify the celestial realm, it naturally had its own foundation. This kind of foundation was not only endless monstrous geniuses, but also not only the top powerhouses. There were also all kinds of treasures, array diagrams, and elixirs of immortality. The Xian even had immortal artifacts that ordinary immortal forces did not have. And the Celestial Emperor's throne was the symbol of the Xian authority. Those who could sit on the Celestial Emperor's throne were the true masters of the Xian. They ruled endless time and space and endless star domains. Of course, the Celestial Emperor's throne in the immortal Steel Forest was not the real Celestial Emperor's throne. It was just the immortal artifact imprint of the Celestial Emperor's throne. It was the same principle as the imprint of an emperor's weapon. The real immortal artifact, the Celestial Emperor's throne, was swept into the depths of an unknown space when the Xian collapsed last time. There was a rumor in the Xian that when the next master of the Xian reappeared and reorganized the supreme Xian, only then could the real Celestial Emperor's throne reappear. Now, in the immortal Steel Forest, the appearance of the immortal artifact imprint of the Celestial Emperor's throne was a kind of omen, a sign of the Xian reorganization. And the young emperor of the Xian was undoubtedly the most likely existence to become the master of the Xian in this era. At this moment, under the imprint of the Celestial Emperor's throne, a man and a woman, two figures, stood facing each other. The man was dressed in an 8 trigrams robe. He was tall and handsome. Like a dragon steed and a phoenix chick, he had the aura of a high and mighty king. Behind him, there were 8 trigrams runes lingering. One could even vaguely see an incomparably ancient and transcendent god's shadow. It was the Fushi sacred physique phenomenon. Fushi acted as the 8 trigrams. This person was the successor of the Xian Fushi celestial legacy, Gutizi. He stood there as if he was standing in the center of heaven and earth. His aura was extremely strong, and opposite him, it was a beautiful woman in a snow-white glazed dress. Her facial features were exquisite and peerlessly beautiful. It was as if she was the most perfect creation created by the hands of the heavens. Her figure was tall and slender, perfect to the extreme. Her skirt was cut open at the base of her thighs, revealing a pair of long and slender legs that were as white as ivory. They were much longer than the legs of ordinary women. His entire body was enveloped in the radiance of the immortal Tao. All sorts of phenomena, star orbits, and great Tao runes appeared. His entire person carried a noble and cold aura. She was like a peerless female immortal king. She was none other than Princess Ling Yan, the successor of Empress Hua's immortal heritage. The auras of Ling Yan and Gu Tizi were much stronger than before. It was clear that they had all obtained unimaginable opportunities and inheritances in the immortal monument forest. Even further away, there were many people watching. Sure enough, the final battle for the position of young emperor will still be decided between Sister Ling Yan and Gu Tizi. In the crowd, a pretty girl in a flowery silk dress said. Her pretty face was fair, and her bright eyes were dazzling. She was the successor of the elite immortal guard, Wei Qianqian. She had also appeared at Gu Tizi's wedding. I wonder which one of them will become the next young emperor of the Xian. Beside her, a cultured and refined young man who looked like a scholar in the mortal world said. He was the successor of the Zhang Jie immortal lineage, Song Li. He had also appeared at the wedding. That Gu Tizi has suffered at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao several times. Who would have thought that he would still have the chance to fight for the position of young emperor? A cold-blooded man with a strong, murderous aura snorted. He was the successor of the Xingtian immortal lineage, Xing Lu. He had always been critical of Gu Tizi's failures. When the battle for the position of young emperor is over, I guess we'll have to follow young Emperor Real's lead, right? Yao Qing, the successor of the Shinong Xianting, said. As soon as he said that, The other successors fell silent, each with their own thoughts. Each of the 9 great immortal lineages had their own plans. The most tragic one was the Qiyu immortal lineage. Because Jun Xiaoyao had killed Qi Lai, the successor of the Qiyu immortal lineage. As a result, the Qiyu immortal lineage did not even have a Sky Pride who was qualified to fight for the position of young emperor. This made Qiyu celestial lineage even more annoyed, and they suppressed their grievances. At this moment, Gu Tizi and Ling Yin were the center of attention. Who could defeat the other and take the heavenly emperor's throne? Who would be the next young emperor of the Xian Ting? Ling Yin, as expected, only the 2 of us made it this far. Gu Tizi smiled. He did not seem nervous at all about the final battle. Gu Tizi, there's no need to be so pretentious. Just come at me. I'm not afraid of you. Ling Yan's voice was cold and indifferent. Absolute strength gave her confidence. Ling Yan, you should know how I feel about you. You should also know that I don't want to fight with you. Gu Tizi's words even had a hint of tenderness. Ling Yan's delicate eyebrows furrowed slightly. She did not know why, but when she heard Gu Tizi's words, she felt very uncomfortable and disgusted. Although Ling Yan was a woman, she had a domineering aura that did not belong to a man. Before she became the young emperor, she had never thought of anything else. She had never had any feelings for anyone. However, when they were exploring the ruins of the underworld under the Black Abyss, she and Jun Xiaoyao had experienced 100 lifetimes of love in the sea of reincarnation. In every lifetime, it was a sadistic love. They loved each other so deeply that they hovered between life and death. It could be said that it was the only relationship Ling Yin had ever experienced. Even though she hated Jun Xiaoyao for taking away her opportunity and leaving a mark of humiliation on her thigh, she still hated him to the core. But other than that, she also had a trace of inexplicable complexity in her heart. After all, although that 100 lifetimes of love was an illusion, it was no different from the real world. This made Ling Yin even more repulsed by other people's feelings. Ling Yin, what's wrong with you? Gu Tizi looked at Ling Yin, who was slightly absent-minded, and asked. He did not know when it started, but Ling Yin seemed to be a little strange. Gu Tizi naturally did not know that Ling Yin and Jun Xiaoyao had experienced 100 lifetimes of ill-fated love together. He also did not know that Jun Xiaoyao had left a mark on Ling Yan's thigh. I don't want to talk about feelings right now. Let's just fight and decide the final winner. As if to hide her emotions, Ling Yin directly attacked. A 5-colored divine stone appeared between her eyebrows. It was the imprint of Nuwa's Dao Stone, the imperial weapon of Emperor Nuwa's immortal lineage. A 5-color divine light shot out with an astonishing aura. Ling Yin, wait. As Gu Tizi spoke, he took out a golden stone tablet engraved with a dragon totem. This was the imprint of Fushi's imperial weapon, the imprint of Fushi's dragon tablet. Boom! The 5-color divine light bombarded Fushi's dragon tablet, sending out vast waves of energy. I have a suggestion. Gu Tizi shouted. What do you mean? Ling Yin temporarily stopped attacking. I can give you the position of young emperor, Gu Tizi said with a gentle smile. What? As soon as he said this, not only was Ling Yuan surprised, but the successors of immortal orthodoxies who were watching from afar were also shocked. Gu Tizi was willing to give up the position of young emperor. Even if that person was Ling Yin, the princess he adored, it was still unbelievable. Gu Tizi may love Sister Ling Yin, but he wouldn't go so far as to give up the position of young emperor, right? Wei Qianqian said in surprise. What is Gu Tizi thinking? Song Li was also surprised. The Xianting sky prides were in an uproar, clearly in disbelief. Even Ling Yin raised her eyebrows. Gu Tizi, what are you planning? Are you trying to make fun of me? Gu Tizi smiled. Of course not. I really want to give you the position of young emperor, but in contrast, Gu Tizi paused, then continued. I hope that you can work with me and kill Jun Xiaoyao in the ultimate trial so that I can obtain the heavenly crown. Chapter 8:18. The crowd fell silent upon hearing Gu Tizi's words. No one expected the ancient prince to make such a move at the most critical juncture of the competition for the position of young king. Ling Yan's eyes flickered with astonishment. Gu Tizi's decision took her by surprise. After all, the position of the young emperor of the Xianting was one of the most honorable identities in the entire Nine Heavens immortal realm. It might even become the ruler of the Xianting in the future, and yet Gu Tizi was willing to give up on it. At this point, the ancient prince's intentions were clear. He was willing to give the position of the young emperor to Ling Yan. However, Ling Yan would have to team up with him to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, he would have to kill Jun Xiaoyao with his own hands to claim the reward of the heavenly Dao crown. Is Gu Tizi really going to give the position of the young emperor to sister Ling Yan? Wei Qianqian opened her mouth wide in disbelief. I believe there are a few reasons behind it. Song Li's deep eyes flickered with wisdom. Firstly, Gu Tizi does have a crush on Ling Yan. It's his way of expressing his goodwill to her. Secondly, Gu Tizi does hate Jun Xiaoyao to the core. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had ruined his reputation and made him a laughingstock. Thirdly, instead of fighting with Ling Yuan and offending her, the ancient prince might as well kill Jun Xiaoyao and obtain the heavenly law crown. That way, he would be destined to prove himself, and he would gain quite a lot as well. They had to admit that Song Li's analysis was quite reasonable. The successors of the immortal factions nodded in agreement. Everyone knew Gu Tizi had a crush on Ling Yan. If he were to fight with Ling Yan over the position of the young emperor, it would completely destroy his hope of marrying Ling Yan. If that was the case, he might as well hand over the position of young emperor gracefully. He might even be able to move her and win her heart. Gu Tizi's plan was very deep. There was a chance that he would be able to win the heart of a beauty, kill Jun Xiaoyao with his own hands, and even obtain the heavenly Dao crown as a reward. This was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. What do you think, Ling Yan? Do you agree? Gu Tizi smiled at Ling Yan. Ling Yan's lips curled into a slightly mocking smile. With her intelligence, how could she not know what Gu Tizi was planning? Kill Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yan muttered to himself. For some reason, the image of Jun Xiaoyao's blood-stained white clothes flashed through Ling Yan's mind. She felt a faint stab of pain in her heart. Damn it, it's that ill-fated fate of 100 lives. Ling Yan frowned. She had tried to cut off this ill-fated fate of 100 lives, but she did not succeed. Ling Yan did not care at first, but now she realized that this ill-fated fate of 100 lives was not so easy to cut off. If Jun Xiaoyao dies, perhaps this effect will be removed. Ling Yan calculated in her heart. Ling Yan, can't you make a decision yet? I've shown enough sincerity, haven't I? Gu Tizi asked. All right, I promise you, but don't think that I'm afraid of you. If we really fight, it's hard for you to beat me, Ling Yan said coldly. Although it looked like Gu Tizi was being modest. If they really fought, Gu Tizi might not be able to defeat Ling Yan and win the position of young emperor. Therefore, Ling Yan naturally did not think that Gu Tizi was being modest. She moved her snow-white long legs and landed in front of the celestial emperor's throne. Then she sat down. Boom! In an instant, the entire space of the immortal steel forest was filled with immortal light. Amidst the boundless divine light, Ling Yan sat on the celestial emperor's throne. A pair of snow-white long legs were crossed, and one of them was propped up. Her legs were long and slender, making them look perfect. Her black hair floated in the wind, and her phoenix eyes were full of power. Her beautiful face contained a domineering aura that did not lose out to men. She was like an invincible female immortal king with unparalleled charm. I, Ling Yan, will become the first female young emperor in the history of Xianting. Operate the universe and manipulate the heavenly secrets. 9 immortal orthodoxies heed my command. Ling Yan's cold voice resounded throughout the immortal steel forest. Gu Tizi of the Fushi immortal orthodoxy greets the young emperor. Gu Tizi cupped his hands and smiled. Wei Qianqian of the elite guard immortal orthodoxy greets the young emperor. Wei Qianqian hurried over. The elite guard immortal orthodoxy sided with Empress was immortal orthodoxy. Song Li of that song, Jia immortal orthodoxy greets the young emperor. Yao Qing of the Shinong immortal orthodoxy greets the young emperor. Xing Lu of the Xingtian immortal orthodoxy greets the young emperor. One by one, the successors of immortal orthodoxies came forward and cupped their hands. No matter what they were thinking, they all cupped their hands in greeting. Apart from them, there were also thousands of sky prides from various immortal orthodoxies who came to participate in the trial. They were all dragons and phoenixes, the cream of the crop. Greetings, young Emperor Ling Yan. Thousands of sky prides cupped their hands in greeting. Their voices shook the 9 heavens. One could say that Ling Yan's power was at its peak. Looking at the sky prides below, Ling Yan's lips curled into a smile. She did it. She became the first female young emperor in the history of Xianting. She might even become the ruler of Xianting in the future. Don't worry, I will use the Heavenly Emperor's Throne's brand to find a real immortal artifact, the Heavenly Emperor's Throne. When the real Heavenly Emperor's Throne reappears in the immortal region, it will be the time for the Xianting to ascend once again, Ling Yan declared domineeringly. Young Emperor is mighty. Many sky prides cheered. Ling Yuan was the most popular successor among the 9 great immortal orthodoxies. Most of them were convinced that she was the young emperor. Of course, there were also those who sided with Gu Tizi. However, since Gu Tizi took the initiative to give up the throne, they naturally wouldn't criticize him. Young emperor, you should know that the most important thing for us now is to deal with our enemy, Jun Xiaoyao, the successor of the Jun family. The Jun family's ambition is not dead. They have always wanted to replace our position as the supreme Xianting. If we can eliminate the successor of the Jun family, it will be a warning to the Jun family, Gu Tizi said. That's right. The son of God of the Jun family is too arrogant. He doesn't take us, the successors of Xianting, seriously at all. Yes, Qi Lai of Qiyu Xianting was killed by the son of God of the Jun family. The son of God of the Jun family also killed the 4 heavenly kings of the Xianting. Gu Tizi's words stirred up the crowd. This group of Xianting sky prides had long disliked Jun Xiaoyao. After all, the Xianting were used to being superior. They had always been the ones bullying others. This was the first time someone had bullied the Xianting. They were used to being superior. Naturally, they didn't like it when someone was more superior than them. However, Jun Xiaoyao's status as the son of God of the Jun family was not inferior to the Xianting's young emperor. Jun Xiaoyao even had the status of the young master of the Jiang family and the lord of the emperor's court. A cold light flashed in Ling Yan's eyes when she heard this. Was Gu Tizi afraid that she wouldn't keep her promise? Don't worry, I will deal with Jun Xiaoyao, Ling Yan said coldly. Gu Tizi smiled confidently and said, Young Emperor, I have a plan. With this plan, we can definitely kill Jun Xiaoyao in the ultimate trial. Chapter 819. Gu Tizi's words silenced everyone. There was no need to elaborate on Jun Xiaoyao's current reputation in the ancient road of ultimate. There was also no need to elaborate on his strength. However, Gu Tizi actually said that he had a way to kill Jun Xiaoyao in the ultimate trial. This was very surprising. Although many of the Xianting sky prides were disgusted with Jun Xiaoyao, there was no need to doubt his unrivaled strength among the younger generation. Oh! Ling Yan's eyes flashed with a deep look. Gu Tizi was actually so confident in his victory. However, I will tell young king about this in detail later. Gu Tizi smiled mysteriously. He naturally would not reveal his plan in public. What is Gu Tizi planning? Is he really that capable? Wei Qianqian muttered. Why? From your tone, it seems like you don't want to see anything happen to Jun Xiaoyao. Song Li smiled faintly. No way. I just feel that it's a pity for such a handsome man to die, Wei Qianqian muttered. Sigh. This is an era where looks matter. Song Li was speechless. The battle for the position of young king in the Xianting had ended. With the help of the opportunities in the immortal steel forest, the strength of all the sky prides in the Xianting had increased by a large margin. The successors of the immortal orthodoxies were all far stronger than before. Ling Yin and Gu Tizi's cultivation had doubled. Ling Yin, who had obtained the immortal artifact's imprint, could be said to have reached the peak of her current strength. All the successors of the immortal orthodoxies were confident that the Xian Ting's strength was enough to dominate the ancient road of ultimate. They could even control the situation in the ultimate trial. However, when all the Sky Prides and the Xian Ting left the immortal steel forest space, a single piece of news froze the smug smiles on their faces. What did you say? Jun Xiaoyao obtained the inheritance of ancient chaos great emperor on the buried emperor's star? Not only that, but even a Dharmakaya can fight with the invincible overlord. And in the end, the original body can crush the overlord. He even extorted a heavenly tome and spring of life from the ancient Void Dragon clan. There's also a mystique venerable rank from the overlord ancestral hall who died because of Jun Xiaoyao and was killed by the 8 divine kings. Previously, all the Xian Ting geniuses were training in the immortal steel forest, so they did not receive the news. When they came out and received the series of news, they were dumbfounded. Their minds were buzzing. What? That Jun Xiaoyao is so strong that even the overlord isn't his match? Wei Qianqian's eyes widened in disbelief. The successors of immortal orthodoxies were also shaken, unable to calm down. Although the tyrant used to be extremely mysterious, he was widely recognized as one of the most powerful outlawed sky prides on the ancient road of the ultimate path. In the end, he was defeated by Jun Xiaoyao in such a humiliating manner. Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yan's expression was solemn. She thought that she had gone through the immortal steel forest's opportunity of fortune and obtained the heavenly emperor's throne's brand. It should not be a problem for her to defeat Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao had now once again refreshed the world's understanding of him. This man seemed to be constantly creating miracles. As expected, we have to carry out the plan. If we fight Jun Xiaoyao alone, our chances of winning are not high. Gu Tizi frowned. His words shocked some of the successors of immortal orthodoxies. Gu Tizi was one of the most powerful sky prides in the Xian Ting, and he possessed the Fuxi's sacred constitution. Jun Xiaoyao's reputation was evident from the fact that he was not confident of defeating an opponent alone. Ling Yan, let's talk, Gu Tizi said. In private, he did not address her as young king. Ling Yan nodded slightly. After the other sky prides and the Xian Ting left, Ling Yan said, so what's your plan? I think we should find the other 7 defiant kings first, Gu Tizi said. You think you can't handle them alone, so you've decided to team up? Ling Yan asked. Since the heavens have appointed the 7 defiant kings, it means that it is difficult for one person to defeat Jun Xiaoyao, Gu Tizi said. Can you not make it sound so high-sounding? Ling Yan's eyes flashed with a touch of disdain. Although she was on the same side as Gu Tizi now, she had to admit that Gu Tizi was still incomparable to Jun Xiaoyao. It was not the difference in cultivation level, but the difference in mentality and temperament. Although Gu Tizi also had the aura of a king, compared to Jun Xiaoyao's arrogant and invincible spirit, he was still a lot weaker. Only the one who can survive to the end can dominate this era and seize the destiny of this era, Gu Tizi said with a cold smile. He was also an ambitious and ruthless person who would resort to any means necessary. As long as he could kill Jun Xiaoyao, he did not mind using any underhanded means. Although the 7 defiant kings do not know each other's identity, they can sense each other's presence. We can find a chance to meet in the future. Then, in the ultimate trial ground in the world of the ruins of God, it will not be difficult to kill Jun Xiaoyao, Gu Tizi said solemnly. In the end, Gu Tizi told Ling Yan part of the plan, but not the whole thing. Obviously, he did not completely trust Ling Yan. Ling Yan did not care. However, if everything really went according to Gu Tizi's plan, there was a chance that Jun Xiaoyao might actually die. When she thought of this, for some reason, Ling Yan felt a stabbing pain in her heart. No, it's not only because of the ill-fated relationship, but also because of her. Ling Yan thought of someone. It was not only the ill-fated relationship that affected her mood. Thinking of this, Ling Yan's eyes flashed and she sat down on the Heavenly Emperor's throne again. The void twisted, and endless immortal light wrapped around her. Then she disappeared on the spot. On the other side, in an ancient land where Empress was immortal heritage was located, mountains rose and fell, and jade grass was everywhere. At the side of a valley full of flowers, a beautiful young girl was dancing gracefully. The girl's limbs were soft and light, and her dance was as graceful as a swan, like a swimming dragon, extremely beautiful. Her black hair rippled with the dance, and her slender jade legs were wearing white stockings woven from snow jade silk, making the girl's leg lines even more gentle and beautiful. The girl's facial features were also exquisite and beautiful. Her eyebrows were like jade feathers, and her skin was as white as snow. That appearance was surprisingly 70 to 80% similar to Ling Yin. It was Heavenly Maiden Yuan. Heavenly Maiden Yuan danced the Luo god's graceful dance. Countless rain of flowers surrounded her, and all kinds of spiritual magpies and butterflies flew around her. The scene was as beautiful as a dream. She was like a forest elf dancing in the forest. Clap, clap, clap. In the void, immortal light emerged, and the sound of applause came. Yuan, your dance is getting better and better. Hearing this heavenly voice, Heavenly Maiden Yuan's movements suddenly paused. Her face also instantly returned to a cold expression. She looked over, and in the light, a slightly illusory throne appeared. Ling Yin supported her sharp chin with one hand, her long, slender legs crossed, and leaned lazily on the Heavenly Emperor's throne. It seems that as you wish, you have succeeded, Heavenly Maiden Yuan said coldly. A faint smile appeared at the corner of Ling Yan's lips. She got up from the Heavenly Emperor's throne, stepped on the void, and descended step by step, like a peerless empress, and finally landed in front of Heavenly Maiden Yuan. Yes, I have succeeded and become the young empress of the Xianting. In the future, I may even become the ruler of the Xianting. Yuan, my sister, shouldn't you be happy for me? Ling Yin stepped forward, stretched out her hand, and pinched Heavenly Maiden Yuan's snow-white chin, pulling her face to her. Chapter 820. Younger sister? Fairy Yuan smiled. It was a mocking smile. You and I have two souls in one body. You've always treated me as a superfluous existence. Creating a new body was just to enslave me and use me. Well, have you really treated me as a younger sister? Fairy Yuan's voice was as cold as ice. Ling Yin had always treated her as a tool for cultivation. Feelings? That didn't exist at all. Yuan, that's where you're wrong. I dote on you a lot, said Ling Yuan as she sized up Fairy Yuan's exquisite and beautiful face. Is that so? So you want me to marry Gu Tizi? Fairy Yuan said sarcastically. I'm also very reluctant, but I'm forced to do so by the pressure of the immortal orthodoxy. Who knew that Gu Tizi, that trash, couldn't protect you and let Jun Xiaoyao take you away? Ling Yuan felt embarrassed for the ancient prince when she recalled the incident of her marriage being snatched. What he lost was not only his face, but the entire Xianting's face. That's right. That was my only precious memory. Only young Master Jun treated me with sincerity. He came to snatch my marriage and took me away. When Fairy Yuan thought of this, her beautiful eyes showed a touch of unprecedented gentleness. Ling Yin, who was supposed to be the closest to her, treated her as a tool. Instead, it was Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the opposite camp, who came to take her away from the sea of bitterness. How ironic was that? When Ling Yin heard this, she thought of the mark between her legs and the ill-fated fate of 100 lifetimes. An indescribable fire immediately surged in his heart. Slap! Ling Yin slapped Fairy Yuan's face. Blood flowed from the corner of Fairy Yuan's mouth. She covered her cheek and sneered. What, are you angry? My precious memory with young Master Jun is not something you can take away. Fairy Yuan's words made Ling Yan's eyes reflect a cold light. Hearing about Fairy Yuan and Jun Xiaoyao's experience, she felt uncomfortable. Perhaps it was because of her relationship with Aishi Qing Yuan, which had already subtly influenced her. There was also Heavenly Maiden Yuan, who was originally one with her. She could also secretly influence her. However, as if he had thought of something, Ling Yan's lips curled into a cold smile. She extended her jade-like hand and gently wiped away the blood at the corner of Fairy Yuan's lips. Yuan, you don't need to anger me. After this, I will bring you to see Jun Xiaoyao, said Ling Yan. What? Fairy Yuan's expression suddenly changed, unable to remain calm. Her longing for Jun Xiaoyao dripped into her heart like a river, and it was hard to suppress. However, Ling Yin controlled her life and death, so it was impossible for her to leave this place to find Jun Xiaoyao. But now, Ling Yin actually said that he would take her to see Jun Xiaoyao. This was simply unbelievable. Sure enough, in the next moment, Ling Yin said coldly, "However, I am taking you to witness the fall of Jun Xiaoyao. He will fall in the ultimate training ground, in the world of the ruins of God. No, impossible. Young Master Jun is invincible among his peers. You can't succeed." Fairy Yuan shook her head, unable to believe it. Is that so? What if the 7 emperors attack together? Ling Yin said. Fairy Yuan's pupils shook, and she was speechless. The 7 emperors appointed by the will of the immortal domain to deal with Jun Xiaoyao together. It was really hard to say what the outcome would be. Seeing the silent Fairy Yuan, Ling Yin smiled and reached out her jade-like hand to gently caress the side of her face. Don't worry, when Jun Xiaoyao falls, the obsession in your heart can be cut off, and you will still belong to me. Ling Yin still had one more thing to say, which was that the Aishi Qing Yuan in her heart could also be cut off. Ling Yin turned around and was about to leave. You won't succeed. Young Master Jun is a person who can create miracles. Fairy Yuan said word by word. Then let's wait and see. Ling Yin did not look back, sat on the Heavenly Emperor's throne, and left directly. Young Master Jun. Fairy Yuan sat on the ground, tears surging in her eyes. Yuan, I miss you, buried Emperor Star, inside a sealed ancient cave. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged, and around him there were countless ancient words, like big stars, revolving around him endlessly. Waves of mysterious scriptures flashed through Jun Xiaoyao's mind. He had been comprehending the life book for some time. In front of him, in addition to the life book, there was also a crystal stone. Sealed inside was the spring of life. At this moment, drops of sparkling and translucent spring water, as if there was immortal qi circulating, emerged and merged into Jun Xiaoyao's body. At a certain moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly opened his deep eyes. His body was shining brightly. In his body, there was a faint sound of chanting. It was as if countless gods and ancient Buddhas were sitting cross-legged in Jun Xiaoyao's body, chanting the scriptures of immortality. Immortal God Technique. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were clear, and they were shining. He had comprehended the great forbidden technique hidden in the life book, called the Immortal God Technique. Once this technique was mastered, it was said to be immortal and indestructible, and even gods could not destroy it. That's right, this technique can not only restore the physical body, but even the primordial spirit can be healed. Add to that the chaotic ancient emperor's talisman that specializes in protecting the primordial spirit. How many times can a supreme martial artist kill me, let alone those below the supreme martial artist? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were clear, and the corners of his lips curled up into a smile. The Immortal God Technique, the sacred body of the ancients with an insane recovery ability, and the chaotic ancient emperor's talisman. Just ask the younger generation, who could kill him? Even if those seedlings buried in ancient history came out, they could not do anything to him. This was Jun Xiaoyao's confidence. The ancient road of ultimate is coming to an end. I believe the 7 emperors and the others are running out of patience. Maybe they're already planning how to kill me in the ultimate trial and obtain the heavenly path's reward. What a pity. You guys are still too narrow-minded. Jun Xiaoyao let out a sigh. Gu Tizi and the 7 emperors were only thinking about how to deal with him. What about Jun Xiaoyao? His eyes had already left the 9 heavens, immortal realm. The alien realm, the burial ground, the realm ocean, the forbidden land of life. These mysterious and terrifying places outside the immortal realm were his targets. The seven emperors were nothing in his eyes. What could they possibly be? Once I refine the spring of life into my inner universe, I believe my strength and cultivation will rise to another level. When the time comes, I'll kill all those eyesores in the ultimate trial. Jun Xiaoyao spoke to himself casually, as if he was talking about something that could not have been any simpler. He began to refine the spring of life. At the same time, on an incomparably hot ancient planet that was like the sun, a few figures were there. One of them was a young man with golden hair and golden eyes. He was extremely aloof, like a sun god. It was the 10 princes of Jinwu. He had been defeated by Jun Xiaoyao on the buried Emperor's star. He was the only one left among the 10 brothers. It could be said that he was extremely miserable. However, the 10 princes of Jinwu lived up to his name as a top genius. He had a tenacious Tao heart and was not dispirited because of this. Instead, he turned his hatred into motivation and swore to kill Jun Xiaoyao personally. Back then, he had been very excited when he learned that another Taiyan constitution had been found on the Sun God Mountain. As long as he could cultivate the acquired chaotic constitution, his chances of revenge were almost 100%. This was because the chaotic constitution was one of the most powerful constitutions in the world. Even if it was just an acquired chaotic constitution, it would be invincible. Elders, where is the Taiyan constitution? The 10 princes of Jinwu asked anxiously. He really could not wait. He wanted to dual cultivate with the Taiyan constitution and cultivate the acquired chaotic constitution. Then, he would kill Jun Xiaoyao personally. Ahem. Well, push it up, an elder of the Sun God Mountain said with a dry cough. Push it up. The 10 princes of Jinwu was stunned for a moment. An elder pushed a coffin onto the stage. Your Highness, he's here. The elder coughed with an unnatural expression. Where is he? The 10 princes of Jinwu was stunned and did not react at all. He's lying inside. Are you sure you're not joking with me? The 10 princes of Jinwu finally came to his senses. He froze on the spot, as if he had been struck by lightning. He felt as if his soul had left his body and he was about to fly into the sky. Your Highness, the Taiyan constitution is too rare. This was unearthed from an ancient tomb by the Sun God Mountain with great difficulty. Don't worry, we've checked. This Taiyan constitution is sealed in an ice coffin. Its body is intact and has not decayed. At least it can still be used. Chapter 821. The 10 princes of Jinwu's expression was blank at first. Then it turned green, and finally it turned purplish-green. If not for the fact that the people present were all senior elders of the Sun God Mountain. The Golden Crow 10th Prince would definitely not be able to restrain himself from cursing and beating them up. Elders, are you joking? This is a corpse? The 10 princes of Jinwu gritted his teeth and spat out the words one by one. When he first heard the news, he vaguely felt that something was wrong, but he didn't think too much about it. Who would have thought that it would be a corpse? Your Highness, although it's just a corpse, there's still a chance for you to cultivate the postnatal chaotic body. The power of Een in it has not been lost, an elder said. Then directly extract the power of Een from it. The 10 princes of Jinwu said with a cold face. No, the postnatal chaotic body is born from the balance of Een and Yang. It has to go through a procedure. Otherwise, the probability is very low, and it's equivalent to wasting it, the elders said seriously. But the 10 princes of Jinwu still wanted to say something. One of the elders interrupted him. Your Highness, those who achieve great things do not bother about trifles. If you're even afraid of corpses, then what qualifications do you have to become a top powerhouse? The elder's words were so loud that even the apathetic could hear them. But thinking about it carefully, it didn't seem right. Did one have to experience such hardcore things to become a powerhouse? What kind of logic was this? Why don't you do it? The 10 princes of Jinwu asked in return. Cough, cough. Well, I'm already old, and my talent has been exhausted. Unlike your Highness, I'm still young and strong, and I still have a big grudge to take. The elder coughed and almost choked himself. Hearing the words big grudge to take, the 10 princes of Jinwu fell silent. Indeed, Jun Xiaoyao was too strong. He was so strong that it made people despair. Previously, the 10 princes of Jinwu had heard the news that Jun Xiaoyao had crushed the overlord. He realized that when Jun Xiaoyao fought with them, he didn't even show much of his true strength. At this stage, other than mastering the acquired chaotic body, the 10 princes of Jinwu could not think of any way to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. Your Highness, you should endure the humiliation for now. The chaos flesh will surely overwhelm the entire 9 heavens immortal realm in the future. An elder advised, Your Highness, if you find it too cold, you could heat up first. Another elder suggested. Enough, stop talking. The 10 princes of Jinwu was expressionless and gloomy as he waved his hand. All the elders of the Sun God Mountain sighed. If the 10 princes of Jinwu were unwilling, then there was nothing they could do. Now, the ultimate smelting trial was about to begin. It would be difficult to capture Yu Chanwan. Only this corpse was left. If he gave up, the 10 princes of Jinwu would not be able to cultivate the postnatal chaotic body. Even if he had the chance to find her again in the future, he would have to wait for a long time. Time waits for no man. In this era of great strife, the key was to seize the initiative. If one step was too slow, they would be too slow. In the end, they would only disappear into the crowd. I'm willing, the 10 princes of Jinwu said with a hoarse voice. Even he had no idea why he would say such a thing. Perhaps it was because he hated Jun Xiaoyao too much. I'm responsible for the deaths of my 9 brothers. I must avenge them. The 10 princes of Jinwu groaned. Got it. The elders of the Sun God Mountain were excited. An elder opened the lid of the coffin, revealing a tall and slender figure. He was wearing a white robe. His facial features were rather decent, like a painting. However, his skin was pale and cold. It was hard to tell how long he had been sealed in the coffin. The 10th Golden Crow Prince heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. At least it was not a rotten corpse like they had imagined. Luckily, he could still make it out. Your Highness, we'll be leaving first. The elders were about to leave. Oh, something's wrong? The 10 princes of Jinwu's expression suddenly changed. Why is there an Adam's apple on his neck? His chest is flat too. Why is there something that shouldn't be there? The 10 princes of Jinwu was completely dumbfounded. He froze on the spot. An elder's face twitched, and he said with difficulty, Your Highness, it's about time. At least it's still a human. That's right. There's no need to be too rigid about the gender. Just treat it as a cultivation tool. The 10 princes of Jinwu was going crazy. He was about to go crazy, and the veins on his neck were bulging. Your Highness, think about the deaths of your 9 brothers. Don't you want revenge? Don't you want to kill Jun Xiaoyao with your own hands? An elder shouted. His voice was deafening. The 10 princes of Jinwu's body trembled. His face turned purple, and his heart felt like it was about to explode. Forget about the corpse. But the gender was wrong. This was not something that could be described with the word tragic. Jun Xiaoyao, you must die. The 10 princes of Jinwu roared with hatred. If it were not for Jun Xiaoyao, he would have already had Yu Chanwan, hugging a fragrant, soft, and beautiful girl with a perfect body. Was it not good enough? However, Yu Chanwan had been taken away by Jun Xiaoyao. The 10 princes of Jinwu even mistakenly thought that Jun Xiaoyao had already dual cultivated with Yu Chanwan. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to have the sacred power of tying. Jun Xiaoyao, just you wait. And Yu Chanwan, that be *TCH. When I cultivate the acquired chaotic body, I will make you suffer the same pain as me. The 10 princes of Jinwu roared angrily. In the end, he rushed out with tears in his eyes. Rumble. The entire ancient planet was enveloped by thick sacred power of sun and sacred power of tying. However, the sacred power of tying was not active and carried a faint aura of death. Several elders of the Sun God Mountain retreated from the ancient planet. What happened today must not be spread, an elder said solemnly. Of course, the elders nodded in agreement. If this were to spread, the entire Sun God Mountain would lose face. But the Crown Prince is really going all out. An elder sighed. He's a ruthless person. The few elders present looked at each other and nodded their heads in agreement. Although the 10 princes of Jinwu had done something that crossed their bottom line, it had to be said that it was still effective. Looking at the vague fusion of the sacred power of Sun and sacred power of Tying, the eyes of the few elders glowed brightly. The entire ancient planet was enveloped by the sacred power of Sun and sacred power of Tying. It was like an egg. It was about to give birth to an earth-shattering existence. This existence was destined to make the already turbulent ultimate trial even more turbulent. This was because it would give birth to a god of vengeance. The 10 princes of Jinwu was not the only one who had been traumatized by Jun Xiaoyao's teachings. In a void realm, two figures, one old and one young, stood. They were Long Yuan and Long Yao. Yao, are you sure? Long Yuan asked in a serious tone. Yao is sure. The expression on Long Yao's face was unprecedentedly serious. If she had been like a child before, then she had been like a child who could not grow up. Then, after Jun Xiaoyao's vicious beating and education, she had grown a lot mentally. She had to be beaten if she was weak. This was Long Yao's lesson. Although she was not weak compared to Jun Xiaoyao, she was still weak. That battle could be said to be a humiliating one. The dragon-killing cave is not that easy to enter. Long Yuan sighed deeply. Chapter 822. Long Yao was already strong enough, but she still had talent and potential that she had yet to unleash. Apart from the overlord of the heavens, she also had the rare ancient golden dragon bloodline of the ancient void dragon clan. One had to know that almost all the great emperor-level figures of the ancient void dragon clan in the past had the ancient golden dragon bloodline. Although having this bloodline might not guarantee one's Dao and become an emperor, but the possibility was very high. This was also the reason why the ancient void dragon clan was willing to exchange for Long Yao, even if they had to take out the heavenly book and the spring of life. This could very well be a future great emperor. Long Yao had used the ultimate move of the overlord body when fighting with Jun Xiaoyao, but she had not used the power of the ancient golden dragon bloodline. Her bloodline power had not completely awakened. And the dragon-killing cave was a forbidden, bloody trial of the ancient void dragon clan. Just from a name, one could tell how terrifying this bloody trial was. Since ancient times, countless geniuses of the ancient void dragon clan had died in there and never walked out again. Yao, you have to think about it. With your talent, even if you cultivate alone, you can grow quickly, Long Yuan said earnestly. He saw Long Yao as his granddaughter, so he naturally did not want her to be in danger. Grandpa Long Yuan, Yao has decided. Long Yao's delicate face was extremely serious. Long Yuan's eyes were complicated. There was relief, worry, and pity. Previously, Long Yao was very playful and would not cultivate seriously at all. Now, after Jun Xiaoyao's baptism, she seemed to have grown up overnight. This made Long Yuan not know whether to be happy or worried. Sigh, all right. By the way, the Overlord Ancestral Hall sent some concentrated Overlord body blood essence and a few ancient weapons. If you can come out of the dragon-killing cave, I'll give them to you, Long Yuan said. Thank you, Grandpa Long Yuan. I'll go then, Long Yao said. By the way, Yao, I still don't recommend you provoke that Jun Xiaoyao, Long Yuan said. If Long Yao could awaken her bloodline, there would definitely be a qualitative transformation. But Long Yuan was still a little worried. Jun Xiaoyao, this guy, hid too deeply and was too mysterious. No one knew how much strength Jun Xiaoyao had used. You thought that Jun Xiaoyao was on the first floor, but he was on the 5th floor. No one had ever been able to force Jun Xiaoyao to go all out. Long Yao smiled but did not say anything. However, the moment she turned around, a resplendent seal appeared in her hand. The Emperor's seal of the 7 rebellious emperors. Before this, Long Yao had never merged into his body. Jun Xiaoyao has already become Yao's obsession. If I can't fight to my heart's content again, Yao won't be satisfied. Long Yao murmured in her heart. She clapped her little hand and slapped the Emperor's seal of Dao affirmation into her body. Boom! With a world-shaking explosion, Long Yao purple hair fluttered in the wind, her aura rising steadily. Countless runes of the great Tao flowed in the surroundings, accompanied by the rain of heavenly Tao flowers. Looking at Long Yao's back, Long Yuan sighed deeply. She was still unwilling to give up. The 10 princes of Jinwu were driven by hatred. Long Yao was driven by humiliation. And Jun Xiaoyao's opponents were not just the two of them. The 7 rebellious emperors were only some of Jun Xiaoyao's opponents. On a certain ancient planet full of spirit qi, there was a valley full of immortal qi. A transcendent figure was wrapped in endless immortal qi. What was shocking was that there were a total of 10 strands of immortal qi around this figure. This was terrifying. 9 strands of immortal qi was the limit. This was common knowledge. In the past eras, there were only a handful of prodigies who had cultivated 9 strands of immortal qi, not to mention breaking the limit. If this news spread, it would cause a huge commotion on the ancient road of ultimate. This was an extremely terrifying young taboo monarch. At this moment, the figure wrapped in endless immortal qi seemed to have sensed something. A faint and gentle voice sounded. "Qing-yi, you're here." A beautiful figure sat cross-legged on a lotus platform and crossed the sky. She was wearing an azure robe, and her hair was sparkling and dancing in the wind. Her body was enveloped in immortal qi, and her face was covered by a veil, only revealing a pair of clear eyes that seemed to reflect 3,000 worlds. Her aura was like a green lotus that had just bloomed. She was aloof and untainted. It was Ji Qingyi. She had been on the same level as Ling Yin, Jiang Xingyi, and the others. She was one of the most beautiful goddesses on the ancient road of ultimate. However, she was also the most low-key. She didn't have any shocking battle achievements. However, this showed that Ji Qingyi was very scheming. Even Jun Xiaoyao thought that this woman was not simple. She hid very well and couldn't be judged by common sense. Ji Daoyi, you've been in seclusion for a long time. You've finally broken through the limit of 9 and cultivated 10 strands of immortal qi, Ji Qingyi said in a sweet voice. The figure in the immortal qi was the mysterious successor of the Ren celestial sect, Ji Daoyi, who had the human deity body. Ji Daoyi walked out of the immortal qi. He was dressed in simple and plain clothes, and his appearance was handsome and elegant. His black hair was tied up with a cloth band, and he actually looked simple and unadorned. However, there was a natural Taoist rhyme in his simplicity. He was like an immortal in the mortal world. His skin was like jade, fairer than many women's. His body was crystal clear. His entire body was filled with spirit qi. He didn't look like a mortal's body. This was the human deity body, one of the top 10 physiques among the 3,000. It was on the same level as the sacred body of the ancients and the heavenly tyrant body. After Jiang Luoli transformed into the elemental spirit immortal body, she was about the same level as the human deity body. However, the elemental spirit immortal body could breathe in vast amounts of immortal qi to enhance divine powers. The human deity body used immortal qi to temper the body and create an immortal mortal deity body. It could be said that Ji Daoyi's human deity body, which had been tempered by immortal qi, was no weaker than the sacred body. Qing-yi, with the amount of immortal qi I've cultivated, do you think I could be called number 1 on the ancient road of ultimate? Ji Daoyi smiled faintly. He looked at Ji Qingyi with a gentle gaze. He had once asked Ji Qingyi to be his Tao companion, but she had rejected him. Even so, he didn't feel embarrassed. He was the successor of the human deity sect, and Ji Qingyi was the saintess of the human deity sect. She was still his assistant. If there are no accidents, you should be number 1, Ji Qingyi said. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who knew that he had cultivated 12 strands of immortal qi. It hadn't been spread. Then do you think I can defeat Jun Xiaoyao now? Ji Daoyi continued asking. Ji Qingyi didn't say anything. She took out a jade slip. You've been in seclusion for a long time. You don't have the latest news. Take a look at this, Ji Qingyi said. Ji Daoyi took the jade slip. After scanning it with his divine sense, the smile on his face disappeared. It recorded all the great things that Jun Xiaoyao had done. He was invincible on the ultimate ancient road. He barged into Gu Tizi's wedding with an avatar and left leisurely. On the buried Emperor's Star, he killed outlawed sky prides with ease. The holy church's Shang Tianyi, the Dragon King Palace's Little Dragon King, and the 10 princes of Jinwu combined were no match for him. The mysterious overlord whose name shook the ancient road was only worthy of fighting Jun Xiaoyao's avatar. His true body couldn't even withstand 2 or 3 attacks. Ji Daoyi frowned slightly at these deeds. Even though he had broken through the limit, cultivated 10 strands of immortal qi, and possessed an invincible human deity body, he still couldn't defeat Ji Daoyi. However, when he saw such a shocking battle record, he still fell into a rare silence. If you're not confident, you don't have to be his enemy, Ji Qingyi said calmly. These words sounded like an admonishment, but to the proud and arrogant Ji Daoyi, how could it not have the intention of goading him into action? As expected, Ji Daoyi frowned even more after hearing this. Men were prideful, especially in front of women. Moreover, one of his followers had fallen in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao's follower, Yin Qingying. Ji Daoyi had always remembered this grudge. I admit that he's not ordinary, but I'm not someone to be trifled with either. I still have to settle the score, but I'm puzzled. The heavens have appointed me as one of the 7 defiant sovereigns and have given me the Emperor's seal of doctrine, but I can't merge with it. What's the meaning of this? Ji Daoyi raised his hand, and a dazzling seal filled with heavenly Dao energy floated in the air. It was the Emperor's seal of doctrine of the 7 defiant sovereigns. However, what puzzled Ji Daoyi was that the Emperor's seal of doctrine could not merge with his body. Whoever kills Jun Xiaoyao with their own hands will be able to obtain the heavenly law crown. That shouldn't be a lie, Ji Qingyi said. At this moment, the Emperor's seal of doctrine suddenly flashed and trembled slightly. This is a message from the other 7 defiant sovereigns, saying that they'll meet up later? Ji Daoyi asked. When Ji Qingyi saw this, a glimmer of light flashed across her crystal-clear eyes. The situation is getting more and more interesting, Ji Qingyi thought to herself. Chapter 823. The ultimate ancient road was coming to an end. The news that the ultimate trial was about to begin spread throughout the entire ancient road. To be honest, countless geniuses had stepped onto the Emperor Road at the beginning. However, those who were qualified to reach the end of the ancient road and participate in the ultimate trial were few and far between. Most of them had died during the trial, or they witnessed the shocking gap between themselves and the other geniuses. Their path heart collapsed, and they were discouraged and stopped forever on the way. There were not many geniuses like Jun Xiaoyao who could push through the ancient road like eating and drinking. Most of the geniuses were struggling on the line between life and death. After Jun Xiaoyao went into seclusion, the entire ancient road temporarily returned to peace. From time to time, there would be news of some geniuses. For example, among the 3 giants of the Jun family, apart from Jun Xiaoyao, there were 2 others. The first sequence, Jun Lingsong, had obtained the inheritance of an ancient man with polychoria, and his strength had greatly increased. His polychoria had returned to its original state, and he could transform into a single pupil like an ordinary person. There was no need for a black cloth seal to cover his eyes. The ancient freak Jun Maxiao was also suspected to have obtained the inheritance of an ancient emperor. He had the Runhuang body, and his combat strength was unparalleled. In addition to the 3 giants of the Jun family, the sequences Jun Milan, Jun Wushuang, Jun Zhangjian, and the others had also gained something and made a name for themselves. Of course, there were also Jun Xiaoyao's followers. Yu, Yin Qingying, Wang Chuan, Goddess Eternal Calamity, and the others had also become famous. As Jun Xiaoyao's followers, their status was already higher than others. Their strength was also extremely outstanding. Some people even thought that Jun Xiaoyao wanted to learn from his father and create an existence like the king of God's 8. In addition, those who had been in contact with Jun Xiaoyao, such as Yin Rumeng, Yu Chanwan, Xiao Maxian, and the others had also gained something. There was also Yi Guqin, the reincarnation of the sword demon, who had fought with Jun Xiaoyao in the Battle of the Kings on the Imperial Road of the Huangtian Mystic Realm. He was also famous and had received the inheritance of a forbidden sword god. It could be said that all the prodigies who had persevered until now had more or less gained something. After all, not everyone could survive for a few years on the cruel ancient ultimate road. Of course, other than the news about the people around Jun Xiaoyao, the biggest news recently was that Ling Yan had been elected as the young emperor of Xianting. The first female young empress in history was indeed shocking. As a result, Ling Yan's prestige was pushed to the peak. However, there was another piece of news that shocked everyone. The mysterious successor of the human immortal sect, Ji Daoi, who had the human immortal body, broke the limit of 9 and cultivated 10 strands of immortal qi. When this news came out, everyone was shocked. 10 strands of immortal energy. This was something rarely seen since ancient times, absolutely rare. Ordinary geniuses who had 4 or 5 strands of immortal qi were all dragons and phoenixes. Many people had raised Ji Daoi's status to the same level as Jun Xiaoyao. In addition to them, the reincarnated Bodhi of the Western Paradise sect was rumored to have received the inheritance of a sacred Buddha. He had awakened his innate wisdom, allowing him to execute some of the skills of his past life. His strength was absolutely terrifying. Also, the Yama Emperor of the Underworld King bloodline, who was known as the God of Death, had received the inheritance of a mysterious expert of the underworld. In other words, every prodigy who had come this far had their own fortunate encounters. This was the purpose of the ancient ultimate road. It was to gather resources and nurture a small number of top geniuses so that they could rise. Only then would they have the strength to resist the foreign realm. As the remaining prodigies were improving rapidly, a shocking piece of news exploded in the 9 heavens immortal realm like a sudden clap of thunder. A foreign realm martial monarch had come knocking at the border of the immortal realm. The news was like a huge rock falling into the ocean, stirring up huge waves. The authorities of the Undying factions were astounded when they heard the news. They began to make plans for their own factions. The foreign realm, on the other side of the immortal realm, it also had countless living beings and clans. 100 royal tribes looked down on the world. The undying martial monarch tribes suppressed the world. It was an incomparably powerful land. The peerless experts and geniuses, there were not any weaker than the immortal realm. Besides, the creatures of the foreign realm were tough and vicious. Almost every one of them was a soldier. The foreign realm had invaded many times, stirring up endless disasters. Every battle was recorded in history. Their influence and destruction were thousands of times greater than the battle of undying factions. The prosperous Xianting used to be a supreme overlord of the 9 heavens immortal realm. In the end, they all fell apart in the destructive battle of the foreign realm, turning into the current 9 immortal factions. Even the immortal weapons and the throne of the Heaven Emperor were lost in an unknown space. It was easy to imagine how great the threat of the foreign realm's invasion was. Even though there was some news before, it was not clear. Now, a top expert of the foreign realm had come knocking at the border. It had undoubtedly ignited the fuse. Everyone was shocked. 10,000 zhang of waves. Later on, there was more news. The martial monarch who came knocking was the new martial monarch of the foreign realm. He obviously would not barge into the immortal realm alone. He only pointed his finger and shook the entire border. This wasn't a true invasion, but rather a start, a warning. Immortal Domain's border was built from the flesh of countless experts. Even more so, Immortal Domain's natural law Dao patterns. Even if it was a foreign emperor, if they didn't have special methods, it would still be difficult for them to break through. Even if they broke through, their strength would still be suppressed. That was why, without absolute certainty, the top experts of the foreign realm wouldn't enter alone. However, this was a signal. The signal that the foreign realm was starting to take action. Not long after the foreign realm's new martial monarch came knocking on the border. A message from the gatekeeper's lineage came from a border. The ancient final road's ultimate land of refinement was about to open. In this great era, immortal domain's top heavenly talents were going to clash head-on with the heavenly talents sent out by the foreign realm. Meanwhile, this confrontation wasn't as simple as just sharpening oneself. It was because the foreign realm seemed to have found a way to break through the border pass. Meanwhile, this method was precisely in the ultimate land of refinement, in the world of divine ruins. It was also precisely because of this news that those heavenly talents who were about to reach the end of the ancient final road also sped up, hurrying towards the receiving ground at the end of the ancient path. They were preparing to head to the ultimate land of refinement. Meanwhile, all of this commotion, Jun Xiaoyao didn't even know about it. He was currently concentrating on buried Emperor Star, cultivating in seclusion in a forbidden land. He was going to refine the spring of life into the innerverse. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed. The entire ancient final road seemed to be filled with a faint smell of gunpowder and a sense of tension. The bloody and cruel trial belonging to Immortal Domain's younger generation was about to begin. Meanwhile, before this, something that could affect the situation of Immortal Domain's younger generation was silently happening. That was, the 7 emperors were about to meet. Of course, the outside world didn't know about this. This was a secret meeting between the 7 emperors. However, if the outside world learned about this, it might stir up a huge commotion. It was because now, the foreign realm came knocking, the ultimate land of refinement was about to erupt with a bloody and cruel great battle. At this time, Immortal Domain's heavenly talents should be united, thinking about how to deal with the young kings of the other side. Meanwhile, Jun Xiaoyao was undoubtedly the main force of the main force, the most important. It could even be said that Jun Xiaoyao was one of the pillars of Immortal Domain's younger generation. In the end, the 7 emperors who represented one of Immortal Domain's peak fighting forces instead had a secret meeting to discuss how to get rid of this pillar of support. This really was ironic. Chapter 824. The buried Emperor Star. Inside a hidden ancient cave, a slender figure in a black silk dress was sitting with her legs crossed. She was wearing a grimacing mask that seemed to be both laughing and crying at the same time. Her hair was scattered across her shoulders like a waterfall. Her skin was so pale that it was almost sickly. Her slender limbs were wrapped in bandages like those of a deer, giving her a sickly beauty. She was like a black rose dripping with blood. On her pale skin, there was only a scarlet-red spider lily tattooed on her collarbone. It bloomed exceptionally seductively and dazzlingly. She was none other than the immortal execution bandit, Xianyu. She was the only one left among the 13 immortal bandits. However, Xianyu did not feel anything. She was not sad about the deaths of the other 12 immortal execution bandits. As a matter of fact, the pain brought to Xianyu by the deaths of the other 12 immortal execution bandits was nothing compared to the murderous gaze of Jun Xiaoyao when he looked at her. The familiar face in her memory had attacked her in order to protect another woman. The cold murderous intent caused Xianyu's dead heart to feel a sharp pain. "He's just a flower that looks like me, that's all," Xianyu murmured. She was holding a crystal in her hand. A mature, seductive female voice appeared from it. "When the world of the godly ruins opens, you will be able to return to our world once you've completed your quests. By the way, make a list of the geniuses that are worthy of our attention in the 9 heavens immortal realm. When the time comes, the geniuses of the immortal realm will become the prey of the geniuses of our world." Xianyu fell silent. "Prey?" Xianyu murmured. Jun Xiaoyao's identity, status, and unfathomable strength would definitely attract the attention of the geniuses. If he was discovered by the other side, then he would definitely become a target of great attention, to the extent where he might even be surrounded and hunted down by the foreign young kings and leading figures. Someone like Jun Xiaoyao would pose a great threat to the foreign realm once he grew stronger. They had to eliminate him while he was still in the bud. Xianyu clenched her fists. Her heart was in a mess. Was she willing to see Jun Xiaoyao being hunted down and having his white robe dyed in blood? Xianyu's gaze shifted. At this moment, Mystic Moon seemed to have sensed something as a strange thought flashed through her mind. It was the energy of the seal of Tao verification. The gathering of the seven sovereigns. Mystic Moon muttered to herself. On the other side, outside the ancient Void Dragon clan's ancestral land, the dragon-killing cave, the elders of the ancient Void Dragon tribe, including Long Yuan, waited anxiously. A few months had passed, but there was no sign of Long Yao in the dragon-killing cave. The longer the time, the lower the probability of Long Yao surviving. Sigh, I shouldn't have let her enter the dragon-killing cave. How reckless! An elder of the ancient Void Dragon tribe sighed and stomped his foot. They used the Book of Life and the Spring of Life as the prize to redeem Long Yao. If something were to happen to Long Yao now, Long Yao would be in trouble. Not only had the ancient Void Dragon tribe lost a super expert who could possibly achieve the martial monarch realm, they had also lost a precious treasure. It was a huge loss. I believe in Yao. Although she used to be playful and mischievous, she has grown up after the battle between the Holy Body and the Overlord Body. The unwillingness in her heart will become the motivation for her breakthrough, Long Yuan said with certainty. Just as Long Yuan's voice fell, a terrifying aura burst out from the dragon-killing cave all of a sudden. The elders of the ancient Void Dragon tribe were all experts above the supremacy level. However, at this moment, all the elders felt a slight sense of suffocation. If not for their high cultivation level, they would have knelt on the ground. This was not a suppression of cultivation level, but a suppression of the bloodline and soul. The ancient Golden Dragon bloodline has awakened, an elder of the ancient Void Dragon tribe said in a trembling voice. Boom! It was accompanied by a loud bang. A purple aura burst out from the entrance of the dragon-murdering cave and spread in all directions. These elders could barely withstand the pressure with their cultivation level. However, some of the younger ancient Void Dragon tribe members were unable to withstand it. They knelt on the ground with unprecedented shock and fanaticism on their faces. It's Princess Yao. Princess Yao has come out of the dragon-killing cave and successfully awakened the ancient Golden Dragon bloodline. Many of the young ancient Void Dragons were howling and roaring. They had been oppressed for too long. Now, the ancient Void Dragon tribe had become a laughing stock, just like the Overlord Ancestral Hall. They were also known as the most miserable dragon tribe in history. Who could stand it? Under the gaze of many ancient Void Dragon tribe members, Linglong's beautiful figure slowly stepped out of the dragon-killing cave. Yao, Long Yuan, and the other elders' eyes were filled with excitement. However, what surprised them even more was that, with every step she took, she grew taller at a speed visible to the naked eye. Her long purple hair, which had been bundled into a ball behind her head, was completely let down. Her purple hair was like a waterfall. In the end, when Long Yao stepped out of the dragon-killing cave, she had turned from a petite little Linglong girl into a tall, slender, and mature girl with curves of Linglong. Her purple hair was like a waterfall, reaching her perky bottom. Her breasts were plump, her waist was slender, and her legs were long and shiny. Her snow-white dress could not hide her graceful figure. Her adorable face, which had been like carved jade, had become extremely beautiful and exquisite. Her large purple glass-like eyes had also turned into a pair of purple-gold noble phoenix eyes. She looked like an incomparably noble and devastatingly beautiful dragon race empress. All of the ancient Void Dragon clan members were stunned, and their eyes were filled with amazement. Yao, Long Yuan's voice trembled in disbelief. The mature girl in front of him was very different from the mischievous little girl in his impression. Grandpa Long Yuan, I did it. Long Yao's red lips curled into a smile. Before she awakened her bloodline, she could only be considered a baby. Now that she had awakened her bloodline, she had truly entered the stage of growth. Now, she could completely defeat her previous self. Good, this is great. Princess Yao has the potential to become a great emperor. She will definitely be the empress of the ancient Void Dragon tribe in the future. An elder of the dragon tribe laughed. With Princess Yao's current strength, I'm afraid that Jun Xiaoyao won't have it easy if she goes against him." These elders of the dragon tribe were overjoyed. They had simply forgotten the pain after the scar had healed. Jun Xiaoyao, hearing those 3 words, Long Yao Er's smile disappeared. The humiliation of being treated like a little bitch was still vivid in her mind. "Grandpa Long Yuan, I have something to do. I'll take my leave first." Long Yao Er's jade-like feet tapped the void lightly as she prepared to leave. "Wait, this is what the Overlord Ancestral Hall gave you." Long Yuan handed over some ancient weapons and concentrated Overlord blood essence to Long Yao Er. The ancient weapon was a blood-stained bronze battle spear. It was once used by the ancestors of the Overlord Ancestral Hall. It was said that the ancestor had once used this bronze battle spear to pierce through a sacred body. The blood on it was the blood of a sacred body. Long Yao took the bronze battle spear and Overlord blood essence. She nodded slightly and tapped the void with her snow-white feet, instantly disappearing from the spot. This was the unique spatial talent of the ancient Void Dragon tribe. Long Yao, who had awakened the ancient Golden Dragon bloodline, was clearly able to perfectly utilize this talent. Seeing this, Long Yuan opened his mouth, but he didn't say anything. Long Yao had already grown up and didn't need him to take care of her anymore. "Yao, don't be rash." Long Yuan sighed deeply. He was really afraid that Long Yao would provoke Jun Xiaoyao again. Although Long Yao Er's current strength was no longer the same as before. But when Jun Xiaoyao dealt with her, how much strength did he use? Immortal Execution, Thief Xian Yu, and Long Yao both took action. Their destination was a desolate ancient star area that had no one in it. That was the place where the 7 emperors gathered. Chapter 825. In the depths of the dark universe, there were few stars. This was the 104th checkpoint of the ancient road of Ultimate, a remote and desolate ancient star region. There weren't many opportunities in this ancient star region, and few people came here. It could be said to be a desolate area. And today, on a desolate ancient star region in this desolate ancient star region, 2 figures, a man and a woman, landed on it. The man was wearing a black robe with 8 trigrams. He was tall and straight and was surrounded by 8 trigrams. He was Gu Tizi. The woman was naturally Ling Yan. She leaned lazily on the Heavenly Emperor's throne, supporting her sharp chin with her jade-like hand and crossing her snow-white long legs. Her entire being seemed cold, proud, charming, and magnificent. She was like a world-toppling empress. Gu Tizi's eyes were filled with amazement. For a peerless elite like him, what kind of woman couldn't he get? But he didn't care about them, and only regarded Ling Yan as his exclusive property. After Jun Xiaoyao dies, I can really consider the marriage with Ling Yan, Gu Tizi thought to himself. He knew his priorities. The most important thing now was to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. As long as he could kill Jun Xiaoyao with his own hands and get the Heavenly Dao crown, then he would be the rightful representative of the Heavenly Dao. In addition, he had humbly given the position of young emperor to Ling Yan. Gu Tizi believed that Empress Hua's immortal lineage behind Ling Yan would definitely agree to the marriage between Ling Yan and him. By then, he and Ling Yan would have the final say in the entire Xianting. It had to be said that Gu Tizi was very calculative and scheming. Killing Jun Xiaoyao and getting his hands on the beauty was just wishful thinking. But he didn't know that Ling Yan, who he regarded as his exclusive property, she had been in a relationship with Jun Xiaoyao for a long time in the reincarnation ocean. There were also traces of Jun Xiaoyao on her thighs. Gu Tizi, who had never even touched Ling Yan's hand, wondered how he would feel when he found out the truth. "Are you sure the other emperors will come?" Ling Yan asked calmly. "I will definitely come because the Divine Ruins is the best opportunity. If I miss it, it will be very difficult to kill Jun Xiaoyao again," Gu Tizi said confidently. The ancient final path didn't forbid killing. The various undying forces couldn't interfere. Even if their own geniuses died, they could only watch helplessly. 9 of the golden crow-crowned princes had died. Wasn't the sun god Mountain angry? But so what? Rules were rules. The rules of the ancient ultimate road could not be broken. That was why Gu Tizi dared to surround and kill Jun Xiaoyao in the final trial. Missed this last chance. After that, it would be very difficult to make a move on Jun Xiaoyao. The Jun family behind him wouldn't turn a blind eye. You look like you have victory in your hands. Ling Yin narrowed his eyes, and a light flashed in his eyes. No one knew what he was thinking. I can't say that I'm 100% sure, but I have some confidence. Besides, I've also figured out some of the secrets of the Seven Emperors. The weapon that God gave us to deal with Jun Xiaoyao might not be just the archmark of proving truth, Gu Tizi said with a deep look in his eyes. Oh, Ling Yan's eyes flashed with a strange light. Did Gu Tizi figure out something else? But that's true. You have the Fuxi sacred body. You're the best at deducing and comprehending the Tao, said Ling Yuan. The Fuxi sacred body was rumored to be the body of a deity. It was mysterious and unpredictable. Of course, the sacred body of Empress Hua was the same. Gu Tizi sighed and said, unfortunately, Ling Yin, if we can marry each other and refine each other's energy, the body that will be born in the end won't be weaker than the chaotic body. The combination of the Taiyin's sacred body and the Taiyang's sacred body could give birth to the postnatal chaotic body. If the Fuxi sacred body and the Empress Hua sacred body refined each other, they could also give birth to the strongest body. Enough. I don't want to talk about this now. Ling Yan's eyes flashed with disgust. She didn't know why, but after 100 lives of ill-fated love, she hated other men more and more. Of course, it didn't mean that she liked Jun Xiaoyao. She also hated him in her heart. Gu Tizi smiled and didn't say anything. At that moment, the space was cleansed and ripples spread out like waves. Ling Long's tall figure tore through the void and appeared. Her purple hair was loose and straight to her perky, but her face was beautiful and there was a sense of nobility in her purple gold eyes. Her breasts were plump, her waist was slender, and her legs were slender and straight. Her development was perfect. Dragon chi surrounded her body and the purple blood of the overlord body surged. Of course, it was Long Yao who had rushed over. You are Long Yao? Ling Yin and Gu Tizi were both surprised. They were surprised not because of Long Yao's identity as one of the Seven Emperors. It was because her appearance at the moment was too different from what they had heard before. A lowly eating candied Haas became a tall and slender mature girl in the blink of an eye. I'm not the same as before, Long Yao said. In terms of temperament, she was not much worse than Ling Yin. One was like a high and mighty empress who looked down on all living beings. The other was the noble empress of the dragon clan who was respected by thousands of dragons. Very good. The stronger you are, the more confident we will be, Gu Tizi said with a smile. They weren't surprised that Long Yao was one of the Seven Emperors. Sacred bodies and overlord bodies were natural enemies. It was just that Long Yao's defeat made Gu Tizi feel that her threat to Jun Xiaoyao might be limited. Now that Long Yao had transformed, she was naturally more confident in dealing with Jun Xiaoyao. I want to fight Jun Xiaoyao again, fair and square. I want to wash away my shame, Long Yao said with a frown. She didn't want to besiege Jun Xiaoyao with anyone. This spirit is admirable, but are you confident? Or will you face an even greater shame when the time comes? Gu Tizi said, Are you looking down on me? Long Yao released her aura and her purple hair fluttered. An extremely terrifying dragon force poured out. Although her appearance had matured, her character obviously couldn't become mature all of a sudden. Even Ling Yuan was astonished by this terrifying dragon aura. She felt a slight threat from it. Long Yao couldn't be underestimated. I definitely didn't mean that, but what if? In the face of Long Yao's pressure, Gu Tizi stood with his hands behind his back. There was still a faint smile at the corner of his mouth, and he wasn't affected at all. Long Yao temporarily calmed down, and her face was cold. But after thinking about it carefully, it seemed to be true. Jun Xiaoyao definitely didn't use his full strength when fighting with her. Long Yao hadn't figured out his strength yet. But it doesn't matter. You can fight one-on-one if you want, but it doesn't conflict with our plan, Gu Tizi said indifferently. Long Yao was silent and didn't say anything. At this moment, there was suddenly a surge of immortal light in the distance. The sky was torn apart, as if a true immortal had broken through the realm. His aura was extremely strong and terrifying. Well, it's him. Gu Tizi, Ling Yin, and Long Yao were all surprised. In the immortal light, a handsome young man in plain clothes walked out leisurely. He seemed to be born with an immortal charm. His temperament was simple but unpredictable. His body was crystal clear and flawless, which made many women envious. That was the treasure body of a human deity that had been refined by immortal qi and flowed with immortal light. It was the successor of the sect of Run Ji Daoi. Chapter 826. I didn't expect it to be you, Ji Daoi. Gu Tizi's eyes flickered. He really did not expect it to be him this time. In the Nine Heavens immortal realm, there were a few factions that had existed for a long time. The Celestial Demon Sect, the Human Immortal Sect, the Western Paradise Sect, the Ancient Orchid Sect, etc. The Human Immortal Sect was a great faction that had existed for a long time. It was rumored that it was the legacy of an immortal. As the successor of the Human Immortal Sect, Ji Daoi's status, strength, and capabilities were obvious. However, that was not the most important thing. Ji Daoi also had a mysterious background. Even the successors of immortal factions were intimidated by him. He was the eldest son of a forbidden clan in the ultimate ruin in the Nine Heavens, or the forbidden clans in the Nine Heavens. They were related to the forbidden land of life. They were absolutely terrifying and untouchable. Even undying powers would be wary of them, not willing to provoke them. When Jiang Xingyi had the immortal fetus, Ji Qingyi had tried to persuade her to give it to Ji Daoi. She even mentioned that Ji Daoi's background was forbidden. In the end, Jiang Xingyi rejected the offer. Ji Qingyi said that she had missed a great opportunity to befriend Ji Daoi. This so-called opportunity to form a good relationship was Ji Daoi's identity as the eldest son of the Forbidden Clan. The Forbidden Clans in the Nine Heavens had a formidable background. They were related to the Forbidden Land. They might even be involved in important historical events in the future. It would greatly influence the Nine Heavens immortal realm. Even the immortal factions might turn into ashes with a snap of their fingers. It was the reason why the immortal factions and the clans of the ancients were so intimidated by the forbidden clans. That being said, even though the Jun clan was a clan of the ancients in name, however, even the Supreme Xianting was intimidated by this clan of the ancients. It was not something that ordinary clans of the ancients could compare with. The Jun clan was not afraid of any threat. As for Ji Daoi, he had the human immortal flesh. Thus, he was chosen by the human immortal sect to cultivate and become their successor. Not many people knew his identity as the eldest son of the Forbidden Clan. It was considered half a secret. However, it was normal for the Xianting's information network to know the truth. It was precisely because of this that Ji Daoi appeared to be even more mysterious and powerful and couldn't be provoked. I didn't expect that among the 7 defiant emperors, Xianting would take up 2 of the positions. There's also an overlord from the ancient Void Dragon clan. Ji Daoi's voice was calm. His entire being carried an otherworldly Taoist rhyme. He was very extraordinary. I haven't heard any news about Brother Ji on the ultimate ancient road. Until now, I've heard that Brother Ji has cultivated 10 strands of immortal qi. This is truly shocking, Gu Tizi said with a smile. When Ji Daoi heard this, his eyes flashed. Judging from Gu Tizi's tone, although there was a hint of praise, it seemed that he didn't care. Could it be? Ji Daoi thought of something. Could it be that both Ling Yin and Gu Tizi had broken through their limits and cultivated 10 strands of immortal qi? Thinking of this, a shadow appeared in Ji Daoi's eyes. But he didn't care. The mystery of the human immortal body was not only limited to the immortal qi. Moreover, he had another identity. He was the eldest son of the Forbidden Clan's official family. He cultivated a supreme, forbidden ancient technique and believed that he was not weaker than anyone else. Is that Jun Xiaoyao really so powerful that he needs us to work together? Ji Daoi said nonchalantly. Although he had heard of Jun Xiaoyao's legend, he had never seen it with his own eyes. They were all peerless geniuses, who would be willing to submit to each other. Anyway, we can't underestimate him. We still need to prepare for a rainy day, Gu Tizi said. Ling Yin glanced at Ji Daoi with a hint of doubt in her eyes. She felt that something was amiss. Gu Tizi also sensed something, but he didn't say anything. In short, each of them had their own plans. With Ji Daoi's arrival, 4 of the 7 defiant sovereigns had arrived. Swoosh! A slender figure appeared in the void. Her skin was pale, and she wore a black silk dress. Her slender limbs were wrapped in bandages, and she wore a ghost mask on her face. Xian Yu had arrived. It's you, the immortal killing bandit. Xian Yu's arrival made the 4 of them change their expressions. Xian Yu's notoriety went without saying. She had already become the nightmare of many geniuses, especially those geniuses with special bloodlines. They were most afraid of being targeted by the 13 bandits. You're that bandit who specializes in stealing other people's bloodlines? Long Yao Er's eyes flashed coldly. She hated people like that the most. After all, she had a special body constitution and bloodline. Ji Daoi sized up Xian Yu, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Chaotic bloodline aura. You're actually on the path of smelting all kinds of techniques. Ji Daoi was surprised. Smelting all kinds of bloodlines. Is this path really feasible? Don't tell me you're also eyeing our bloodlines. Long Yao Er's tone was hostile. After all, everyone present had a special bloodline. Xian Yu remained silent and didn't say anything. Sigh, there's no need for that. Since we're all the 7 defiant sovereigns, it means that we're on the same side for now. Now that we have a common goal, we can't have internal strife, Gu Tizi said. It seems that you're going to be the leader of the 7 defiant sovereigns, Ji Daoi said. That's not it. Brother Ji, don't think so. Gu Tizi smiled and shook his head. The 5 people present all had their own thoughts. Undercurrents were surging. At this moment, a black-robed man landed silently. Gu Tizi and the others frowned when they saw this. Dharma body? Brother, aren't you being a little too formal? Gu Tizi said. They were all here in their true bodies, but this black-robed man was here in his Dharma body. It's just a secret meeting. It doesn't matter. The black-robed man's voice was hoarse. Obviously, it wasn't his real voice. Who was this person? Gu Tizi, Ling Yin, Ji Daoi, and the others' gazes changed. Hundreds of thoughts ran through their minds. This person's aura was concealed like a fog, making it difficult to detect. Then, another black-robed man arrived. Gu Tizi frowned. He checked the other black-robed man's aura. Although this person's aura was also very mysterious, it let him catch a trace of an unusual aura. Although this aura was slightly different, it was indeed of the same origin as that family. Could it be? Gu Tizi thought of something. Interesting, really interesting. Worthy of being the will of the immortal realm. This move is too amazing. Jun Xiaoyao, do you really think that you can fight against heaven? Actually, heaven is just toying with you, treating you as a toy in its palm. Gu Tizi secretly found it funny in his heart. If the origin of this black-robed man was really as he guessed, then in the world of the divine ruins, there would probably be a wonderful show to play out. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao's expression would probably be very interesting. What, Gu Tizi, do you know who I am? The black-robed man who arrived last said indifferently. His voice was also changed. It was impossible to tell whether it was a man or a woman. I don't know. Gu Tizi smiled. He then continued. Since everyone is here, I'll tell you some of the secrets that I've comprehended from the seal of Tao validation. The seal of Tao validation is not the only weapon that heaven has given us. Saying this, Gu Tizi activated the seal of Tao validation in his body. A vast heavenly Tao aura burst out. At the same time, the other 6 emperors also unleashed their powerful auras. It did not matter if the seal of Tao validation had merged with their bodies or not. As the 7 auras burst out, complicated heavenly Tao runes spread in the sky. It was like the marks carved by heaven's skillful hands. Are those the runes of a formation? Ji Daoi, said in surprise. He had been cultivating in seclusion before, so he had not carefully comprehended the seal of Tao validation. Bang! A shocking aura burst out. The power of the seven emperors turned into a giant heavenly Tao formation. A terrifying, illusionary figure of an immortal sword with a strong, murderous aura appeared in the formation. Accompanying it were the sorrowful cries of various immortals and Buddhas, and terrifying visions of blood splattering across the sky. The shadow of the sword seemed to carry a powerful force that could destroy thousands of worlds. Even gods and demons feared it. The desolate ancient planet under their feet began to tremble and collapse. Abyss-like cracks spread across its surface, as if it was about to shatter. This was terrifying. It was only a wisp of aura, but an ancient planet was about to shatter. How terrifying was that? Could that be the immortal artifact, the immortal exterminating sword? Jidaoyi took a deep breath. Even he could not remain calm. In their minds, a voice as fearful as the might of the heavens resounded. When the seven emperors gather, they can slay immortals. Seven emperors, immortal exterminating formation. Chapter 827. An immortal artifact's power was monstrous and could suppress eternity. It was a peerless divine weapon that was rarer and more powerful than an emperor weapon. There were only a few of them in the entire 9 heavens and 10 lands. Throughout history, any immortal artifact that appeared was very famous and known by everyone. For example, the supreme Xian Ting's immortal artifact, the Heavenly Emperor's throne, had the power to suppress eternity. The immortal slaying sword was also a famous immortal artifact. It was an extremely deadly immortal artifact. Just from its name, one could tell that it could even kill immortals. Of course, what Gutizi and the others had summoned was not the real immortal artifact, the immortal slaying sword. The real immortal slaying sword had been lost for a long time and had never been discovered. This was a killing array map that God had given to the 7 defiant emperors, called the 7 Emperors' Immortal Slaying Array. It contained a wisp of the immortal slaying sword's sword chi. What a terrifying aura! Even people as strong as Gutizi, Jidaoyi, and the others felt an extreme sense of danger. The 7 defiant emperors could be said to be a group of top geniuses. Otherwise, they would not have been chosen. But at this moment, even they felt a sense of death in the face of the 7 emperors' immortal slaying array. It seems that God has given us the trump card to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Gutizi smiled and let out a long sigh of relief. Originally, the 7 of them together were enough to threaten Jun Xiaoyao's life. Now, with the addition of the 7 emperors' immortal slaying array that contained a wisp of the immortal slaying sword chi, would Jun Xiaoyao still be able to survive? I didn't expect there to be such a mystery. Jidaoyi sighed. If only he had this method, he could definitely kill his way through the ultimate trial ground. Boom! There was an earth-shattering loud noise. The desolate ancient star under their feet was directly shattered into several large pieces by the immortal slaying sword chi and drifted in the universe. Even many of the surrounding stars were directly shattered into powder by the immortal slaying sword chi. Everyone put it away, Gutizi said, and took the lead to put away the power of the Emperor's seal of Tao verification. The others also put away the power of the Emperor's seal. Around them, countless stars had already been destroyed. This kind of destructive power was terrifying. What a powerful force. Long Yao Er's chest heaved up and down. No one in the younger generation will be able to stop this power. Now we can be at ease. When the time comes, whoever can personally end Jun Xiaoyao will depend on luck, Gutizi said. The heavenly Tao crown, destined to corroborate one's Tao and become an immortal emperor. This reward is too tempting, Jidaoyi said. Xianyu did not say a single word from the beginning to the end. She was wearing a ghost mask, so no one knew that under the mask she was struggling, especially after feeling the terrifying power of the 7 emperors' immortal slaying formation. It was as if she could see the scene of Jun Xiaoyao dying, his white clothes stained with blood. This caused her originally dead heart to suddenly throb with pain. Ling Yin felt the same way. Ling Yin frowned slightly. As long as Jun Xiaoyao completely dies, the influence of the 100 lives of ill fate and Fairy Yuan can be eliminated. Ling Yin believed that this was not her will, but the 100 lives of ill fate and Fairy Yuan's influence on her emotions. Since it's over, I should also leave, Ji Daoi said. Everyone, let's meet at the ultimate training ground. Gu Tizi cupped his hands slightly. The two black-robed figures blurred and directly left. From the beginning to the end, they did not reveal their identities. Ji Daoi also flashed and directly left. Although I have this trump card, I, Long Yao will still fight with Jun Xiaoyao to wash away the shame. As Long Yao finished speaking, she waved her hand and tore through the void to leave. In the blink of an eye, 4 people left. Xianyu did not say a word, and also turned to leave. Gu Tizi's eyes were deep, and suddenly said, "Wait." Xianyu's footsteps stopped. "What's the matter?" A cold voice rang out. "You're related to the Permitha organization. You're from the other world, right?" Gu Tizi went straight to the point. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying murderous intent appeared. Xianyu held the pitch-black death scythe tightly and slashed at Gu Tizi with the scythe. Gu Tizi was still smiling as he raised one hand. Jin hexagram, Wan Zhongyu. A hexagram that was as sturdy as a mountain appeared. Layers upon layers of mountains appeared in the void, forming the most solid barrier. Boom! The death scythe bombarded the Wan Zhongyu, bursting out a huge wave of dermic power. "Stop for now. I don't mean to be your enemy," Gu Tizi said. Xianyu paused. Under the ghost mask, a pair of cold eyes were like the stars in the sky. "How did you know?" Xianyu's voice was filled with murderous intent. "Don't underestimate the Xian Ting's intelligence network. We already have a preliminary understanding of the Permitha organization's infiltration. We even know that the Permitha organization is backed by the immortal emperor race of the otherworld, the Permitha tribe," Gu Tizi said casually. "So," Xianyu's voice was still cold and filled with hostility. Since her identity had been exposed, she was in great danger. She might not even be able to return to the otherworld alive. "Don't worry. You're one of the 7 defiant emperors, which means that we're on the same side. I won't do anything to you. I won't leak this information out either." Gu Tizi smiled gently. At the side, Ling Yin watched Gu Tizi's performance calmly. "So what's your goal?" Xianyu asked coldly. Gu Tizi wouldn't expose her identity for no reason. "He must have a goal. It's always nice to talk to smart people. I'm not asking for much, but I'm sure Jun Xiaoyao is a great threat to the otherworld, right? Therefore, I hope you can inform the otherworld and ask the top geniuses of the otherworld to hunt down Jun Xiaoyao in the world of godly ruins." Gu Tizi's words took Xianyu by surprise. Gu Tizi was a genius of the 9 heavens immortal realm. But now he was asking him to inform the people of the foreign world to hunt down Jun Xiaoyao. Even Xianyu was struggling to report Jun Xiaoyao's whereabouts, even though she was a member of the 9 heavens immortal realm. The people that wanted Jun Xiaoyao dead the most were not the otherworld, but the geniuses of the immortal realm. It was too ironic. What do you think? It's beneficial for the otherworld, too. It's a great contribution if you report it to the otherworld. When we reach the world of godly ruins, you can return to the otherworld, too. I won't expose your identity before that, Gu Tizi said calmly. He was a strategist, and his shrewdness was shocking. "You're disgusting," Xianyu said coldly. "Those who achieve great things don't care about trifles. Since ancient times, how many methods have been clean?" Gu Tizi said with a smile. He was not angry at all. Xianyu turned around and left without saying a word. "Are you sure she'll report it to the otherworld?" Ling Yin asked. "Of course. Even if we didn't expose it, she would still report it to the otherworld. It's just a confirmation." Gu Tizi placed his hands behind him. "If she were to spread this plan of yours," Ling Yuan said with a profound look in her eyes. "Don't worry, she won't. At least she won't as long as she's in the immortal realm. Once we reach the world of godly ruins, we'll use her to activate the 7 Emperors' immortal execution formation and kill her right away," Gu Tizi said with a smile. It turned out that he didn't plan to let Xianyu live from the beginning. Gutizi, I'm getting to know you again. Your methods are really vicious. Ling Yan's eyes were filled with deep disgust. Isn't it normal to kill people from the other world after using them? Gutizi didn't think much of it. Then you better take care of yourself. If you still can't kill Jun Xiaoyao like this, it'll be too ridiculous. After Ling Yan finished speaking, light appeared around her body and she broke through the air. Seeing Ling Yan leave, Gutizi's eyes were filled with deep meaning. First killer move, 7 Emperors Alliance. Second killer move, 7 Emperors Immortal Execution Formation. Third killer move, Otherworld Hunting. Logically speaking, these 3 killer moves should be enough to kill Jun Xiaoyao. However, even if I can kill him, I can't guarantee that I'll kill him personally. Although Ling Yan agreed to give up the Heavenly Crown, the other 5 are all competitors. It's better to be safe than sorry. But I still have a 4th move. This move can guarantee that I'll kill Jun Xiaoyao with my own hands and obtain the Heavenly Crown. Even Ji Daoi, Long Yao and the others can only pave the way for my disciple. Ha ha! Gutizi left with a loud laugh. From the beginning to the end, there was only one winner in his plan, and that was himself. Chapter 828. Only the 7 of them knew about this secret meeting of the 7 emperors. Outsiders didn't know about it. However, the 7 of them were all extremely powerful and had important statuses. It could be said that in the entire celestial realm's younger generation, no one was qualified to make the 7 of them work together. Jun Xiaoyao was the first. He was probably the last. After the secret meeting of the 7 emperors ended, the 7 emperors also prepared to head to the 108th stage of the ancient final road. It was also the final stage. Not only them, but the other geniuses who could reach this stage also rushed to the final stage. Previously, the Guardian's lineage had sent out news that the ancient final road was about to open. Therefore, many geniuses had already prepared to head there. Only Jun Xiaoyao was still in seclusion on the buried Emperor Star. However, he was almost at the final stage. At the end of the ancient final road, the 108th stage, there was a city here, a very large city. It was so large that it was boundless. It was like a continent. The towering city walls were like heavenly palaces. They stretched for countless feet, and one couldn't see the end. Dark red blood was deposited on the walls. It was unknown how long it had been left there, but gave off an ancient and desolate feeling. The sun, moon, and stars revolve around this city. Starlight fell along the city walls like a waterfall. This city seemed to be on par with heaven and earth. It was vast and ancient to the extreme. If one was below the city, they would be shocked to see. An incomparably ancient corpse that was the size of a continent was supporting this city. It was the corpse of a black tortoise. A true primordial divine beast, a black tortoise. This was shocking. The corpse of a primordial black tortoise was supporting a city that had existed in the depths of the universe since ancient times. Ancient, desolate, savage, and mystical. Standing in front of this majestic ancient city, one was not much bigger than a speck of dust. The city gate was like the mouth of a star-devouring ancient beast. It was incomparably large and swallowed a huge amount of spirit chi. This city was the end of the ancient final road, the 108th stage. The original imperial city. The origin of the original imperial city was no longer known. However, it was rumored that it was a city built by immortals. All kinds of ancient runes circulated on the city walls, releasing shocking fluctuations. This wasn't just a city, but a fortress that even emperors couldn't shake. And in front of the original imperial city, from time to time, there would be groups of 2 or 3 geniuses arriving sporadically. They were all in front of the original Emperor City. They were shocked for a long time before entering the original Emperor City. In the original Imperial City, there was a transmission array that led to the ultimate trial ground. Wow, is this the original Emperor City at the end of the ancient road? I never thought that I would be able to come here one day. In front of the original Emperor City, a cute little girl who looked to be 12 or 13 years old with bright silver hair was exclaiming. She had big, sparkling, ruby-like eyes and fluffy rabbit ears that hung down from her hair. She looked very beautiful and charming. It was the tying jade hair. Beside her stood a blue-clothed beauty. Her eyebrows were curved, her eyes were clear, her nose was straight, and her lips were red and moist. However, the most eye-catching thing was not the woman's beautiful and delicate appearance. Instead, it was the proud figure wrapped in a blue dress. Her breasts were full, and her waist was slender. However, under her extremely thin waist, there was a soul-stirring curve. Like a plump peach, this kind of pear-shaped devilish figure was too alluring. When paired with the woman's fairy-like appearance, it was simply the combination of an angel's face and a devilish figure. It was simply unbearable. This woman was naturally Yu Chanwan, who had the world's #1 furnace physique. I also never thought that I would be able to reach the end of the ancient road one day. The original Emperor's city, Yu Chanwan muttered to herself. She had originally been chased by the 10 princes of Jinwu. Not to mention reaching the end of the ancient road, she was already extremely lucky to have not been caught. Fortunately, the heavens had let her meet that white-clothed prince of heaven. If it weren't for Jun Xiaoyao, she might have been caught by the 10 princes of Jinwu long ago. The consequences were simply unimaginable. It was Jun Xiaoyao who had changed her fate. Yu Chanwan had long since decided that even if Jun Xiaoyao didn't like her, she would follow Jun Xiaoyao for the rest of her life. Her body, including her first time, belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. Oh, I don't know if young master has come to the original Emperor's city. Little Yu really misses the time when young master stroked me. Tying Jade Hair's face was filled with nostalgia. Yu, now that you have a new master, you've become fickle, haven't you? Yu Chanwan rolled her eyes at Tying Jade Hair. How could that be? It's just that the feeling of being held in young master's arms and stroked is really great. Tying Jade Hair chuckled cutely. I also want to know what it's like to be held by young master. Yu Chanwan subconsciously said. Miss, what did you say? Tying Jade Hair asked. No, nothing. Let's go in. Yu Chanwan's pretty face blushed as she muddled through. The two beauties, one big and one small, stepped into the original Emperor's city. Tying Jade Hair's eyes rolled as she looked left and right. What's the matter? Yu Chanwan asked. I'm afraid that someone will come to catch us. Tying Jade Hair shrank her little head and muttered. Hearing this, Yu Chanwan smiled bitterly and shook her head. Tying Jade Hair was afraid of being chased by the 10 princes of Jinwu and the others. Once bitten, twice shy. Don't worry. 9 of the 10 princes died because of young Master Jun. The remaining 10 princes were severely injured by young Master Jun on the buried Emperor's star and fled. Don't worry too much. Yu Chanwan pursed her lips and smiled. Naturally, she didn't know that the 10 princes of Jinwu had completely lost their bottom line in order to seek revenge and had become deranged. Their target had changed from the originally fragrant and soft Yu Chanwan with a great moon saint physique to, something with a heavy taste. Just as Yu Chanwan was about to find a place to settle down and wait for the ultimate training ground to open, in front of the wide road, there was a group of soldiers dressed in iron armor with horns on their heads walking over. They had an iron-blooded, murderous aura, and their target was Yu Chanwan. Hey, they look like the guards of the Kai family, the gatekeeper family. That woman, is she the great moon saint physique? At this moment, some of the geniuses in the original imperial city looked at her with curiosity and surprise. You are. Yu Chanwan frowned. She had just arrived in the original imperial city. She shouldn't have offended anyone, right? You are the great moon saint physique. A soldier in iron armor asked coldly. Yes, Yu Chanwan replied. Come with us. The soldier in iron armor said coldly. What do you want? Yu Chanwan's expression changed. We're going to be caught again. Tying Jade Hair shouted and recalled the days when they were captured and escaped. Nothing. We're just inviting Miss Yu to be our guest. A calm voice sounded. A young man in a purple robe leisurely walked over with a folding fan in his hand. It's the young master of the Kai family, Kai Song. Many geniuses' expressions changed slightly when they saw Kai Song. Among them, there were even some descendants of the undying race who looked at Kai Song with a solemn expression. It wasn't that Kai Song was worthy of their respect. It was at the Kai family that Kai Song belonged to was the gatekeeper's family. They had worked hard and made great contributions, so they were very prestigious. It could be said that the gatekeeper's family had absolute prestige and ruling status in the original imperial city. Even the descendants of the undying race had to be obedient when they came here. They didn't dare to go against the descendants of the gatekeeper's family. However, why was the young master of the Kai family targeting Yu Chanwan? Chapter 829. What's going on here? Many geniuses were confused. However, they did not dare to step forward recklessly. After all, the gatekeepers enjoyed a great reputation in the original Emperor city. They were the most respected group of people among the cultivators of the immortal realm. They were the heroes who defended the borders. The Kai clan, as one of the gatekeepers, enjoyed a great reputation too. No one dared to offend them. What are you doing? I'm not interested in being your guest. Yu Chanwan frowned. She was used to the harassment. After all, it was easy for her to get into trouble with the Taiyin sacred body. Yu Chanwan subconsciously assumed that Kai Song had his eyes on her Taiyin sacred body. Kai Song waved the fan in his hand and said with a smile, "Miss you, there's no need for that. I won't do anything to you. I just want to introduce you to someone important." Someone important? Yu Chanwan's expression remained cold. That's right, someone important. If you follow that person, you will surely be able to look down on the immortal realm and enjoy the feeling of being above everyone else, Kai Song said patiently. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Yu Chanwan decisively rejected the offer. After all, her body and mind had long belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao did not ask her to be his follower, nor did he say he was going to recruit her. However, Yu Chanwan had long treated herself as Jun Xiaoyao's woman. Furthermore, taking a step back, in terms of people important, how many people in the Nine Heavens immortal realm were more important than Jun Xiaoyao? That's a little unwise of you. Kai Song's smile faded. Taiyin Jade Hair could not stand it any longer. She gathered her courage and harumphed. Who do you think you're talking about is? Do you know that the man behind us is the son of God of the Jun clan, Jun Xiaoyao? The place fell silent after hearing the words. Even Kai Song's expression changed slightly. Jun Xiaoyao had yet to arrive at the original Emperor city. However, the news about him had long spread across the 108 stages of the ancient road. However, when he saw that lord, Kai Song's expression calmed down. At this time, another group of soldiers came from the other side of the street. The leader was also a young master. It's the young master of the Pang clan, Pang Fei, shouted one of the geniuses. The Pang clan was also a gatekeeper clan. Then, the third group of characters appeared. The leader of the group was a red-clothed woman with a sexy figure. When that person comes out, the younger generation will be reshuffled. The son of God of the Jun family will only be at the top for the time being. The woman in red who spoke was the young mistress of the Hong clan, Hong Qian. It was also a gatekeeper family. Kai family, Pang family, and Hong family. The three guardian families had actually gathered here because of Yu Chanwan. The geniuses were dumbfounded. Even Yu Chanwan didn't expect this. He had merely just arrived at the original imperial city and actually caused such a huge commotion. Moreover, the young geniuses of the three gatekeeper families were all extremely respectful to the lord they spoke of. They didn't even hesitate to offend Jun Xiaoyao. Come with us. Don't worry, we won't do anything to you. You are still useful to that lord, Kai Song said with a fake smile. What if I don't want to? Yu Chanwan gritted her teeth and said, Don't want to. Kai Song smiled. Boom. There was a series of footsteps. The soldiers in iron armor stepped out in an orderly manner, their murderous aura surging. That murderous aura was the aura of someone who had been on a cruel battlefield. Their cultivation was also extremely high. They were at least at the Saint King realm. There was no lack of great Saint realm experts. Of course, this was the original imperial city after all. It was the closest city to the border. Apart from some of the younger disciples of the gatekeeper families, the rest of the people's cultivation couldn't be too weak. In the depths of the original imperial city, there was no lack of supremes and even boundary emperors among the layers of void. At this moment, Yu Chanwan clenched her fists. She couldn't escape even if she wanted to. Don't worry, that lord hasn't appeared yet. Go back and wait. We won't mistreat you. Kai Song chuckled. This is the original imperial city. Is there no law here? Yu Chanwan said unwillingly. Law. Pang Fei laughed. We the gatekeeper families guarded the border. We sacrificed our lives and shed our blood. We are the law of the original imperial city. These words were so deafening that the surrounding prodigies fell silent. That was right. This was the reason why they didn't want to offend the gatekeeper families. Their ancestors had sacrificed their lives and shed their blood selflessly. They had sacrificed too much. Although the Supreme Xianting was stronger than the gatekeeper families, they still maintained respect for them. Because of this, unless they had no other choice, the descendants of these immortal forces wouldn't provoke the gatekeeper's descendants. Unfortunately, Yu Chanwan had suffered an undeserved calamity and was taking the initiative to seek her out. Young master will definitely save us. Just you wait. Tying Jade Hair puffed up her cheeks angrily. Kai Song, Pang Fei, and Hong Qian's expressions didn't change. Indeed, Jun Xiaoyao's identity was special. But would he dare to mess around? Would he dare to cause trouble for the gatekeeper families in the original imperial city? Absolutely not. Because this was a great taboo. It was equivalent to humiliating the descendants of heroes. If word got out, Jun Xiaoyao's reputation would be tarnished. No matter how high his status was or how great his reputation was, he would be cursed endlessly. This was also the reason why they dared to capture Yu Chanwan without any scruples. In the end, Yu Chanwan and Tying Jade Hair were still taken away. Just after Yu Chanwan and Tying Jade Hair were taken away by the three great families. A person who looked like a spy took a deep look and then disappeared on the spot. This spy finally landed in the depths of the original imperial city in an old mansion. There was a man and a woman among them. Two figures were wrapped in endless radiance. After hearing the spy's news, the man said, I didn't expect that the main character hasn't come out yet, but the lackey has already come out to command people. They'll be out soon. When that time comes, it'll be a true battle of the best. The woman's voice was soft and charming. I'm curious to know what Jun Xiaoyao will do. The man said, the gatekeeper families aren't difficult to deal with. They're just not easy to deal with. If he's not careful, his reputation will be tarnished. He'll probably be cautious. We'll wait and see. The two of them fell silent. On the other side, in one of the Kai family's encampments, Kai Song, Pang Fei, and Hong Qian were standing respectfully in front of a person wearing a silver cloak and a pure white mask. The figure's mask was engraved with a star. His aura was quite profound, too. It was comparable to the supreme outlawed geniuses. Greetings, Sacred Protector Xing. Yu Chanwan with the Tying Sacred Flesh has been put under house arrest, Kai Song said excitedly. Very well, don't worry. Once my master shows up and sees the Tying Sacred Flesh, he will be overjoyed. He will teach you forbidden arts and even recruit you as his followers, Sacred Protector Xing said. Thank you, Senior Sacred Protector Xing. The three brought their fists together in excitement. This Sacred Protector Xing was one of the master's followers. Even though the master had yet to show up, once he showed up, the younger generation of the Nine Heavens immortal realm would be reshuffled. By then, even the supreme outlawed geniuses would lose some of their brilliance. Chapter 830. Yu Chanjuan's capture did not cause much of a stir in the original imperial city. After all, the original imperial city was so big that it was almost like a continent. The real big shots, the old antiques, were all sitting in the deepest part of the city, constantly observing the situation at the border. They did not have the time to observe the younger generation's fights. However, the Sky Prides who had just arrived at the original imperial city were very concerned. That was because they knew that Yu Chanwan and Jun Xiaoyao were related. Furthermore, Jun Xiaoyao was known for being protective of his own people. Those who offended Jun Xiaoyao would not have a good ending. Those who offended the people around him would not have a good ending. These Sky Prides were also curious. If Jun Xiaoyao came to the original imperial city, how would he deal with this matter? After all, the gatekeeper's family had a special status. They were meritorious officials of the immortal region and could not be offended. I'm curious. Wherever the June family son of God goes, there will be chaos. When he comes to the original imperial city, will he cause a big stir? That's not necessarily true. After all, this is the original imperial city. The gatekeeper's family is the rule here. Many sky prides had different guesses. In the following period of time, more and more sky prides arrived at the original imperial city. Some saw a young monk sitting cross-legged on a white jade dragon elephant. His entire body was wrapped in endless Buddhist light. There seemed to be the sound of ancient Buddhist chanting in the void. It's the supreme outlawed sky pride of the Western Paradise sect, the reincarnated Arhut D. Rumor has it that he obtained the sacred Buddha's inheritance and awakened his innate wisdom. His current strength is terrifying. Some sky prides could not help but exclaim. By the way, I heard a rumor that the reincarnated Arhut D might be one of the 7 defiant emperors. What? Is that true? I'm not too sure. It's just a rumor. Some sky prides were whispering to each other. Jun Xiaoyao fought against the heavens, and the 7 defiant emperors descended from the heavens. This was no longer news. Many people had been guessing who the 7 defiant emperors were. Naturally, there were all kinds of rumors circulating. Later, some people saw endless underworld chi billowing as if hell had returned to the mortal realm. A demonic silhouette appeared within it. That was the supreme outlawed sky pride of the underworld king's bloodline, the infernal emperor. It was rumored that he had received the inheritance of a mysterious expert from the underworld. In addition, there were also people who saw endless sword light sweeping across the sky. Thousands upon thousands of sword chi converged into a sword dragon. A cold and handsome young man dressed in black stood on top of it, riding on his sword with a mighty aura. That's the reincarnation of the sword demon of the clan of the ancients, Yi Guqin. He once fought against the son of God of the Jun family in the imperial road of the Huangtian mystic realm. Although he lost in the end, he won the respect of the son of God of the Jun family. Yi Guqin was also a dazzling star on the ancient ultimate road. He was the reincarnation of the sword demon, but he had severed his past and reconstructed his true self. Losing to Jun Xiaoyao was not a big deal, because Jun Xiaoyao was not an existence that could be measured with common sense. And now, Yi Guqin had clearly reached the level of supreme outlawed sky pride. Just the supreme sword technique that he created, the 1,000 deity tribulation, was enough to defeat all his enemies. Jun Xiaoyao, I look forward to seeing you again. Yi Guqin stood with his hands behind his back and rode on his sword. His eyes were burning with fighting spirit. It was rare to find a worthy opponent in his life. Then, the Ascendant King and his sister, Yu Yunchang, also arrived at the original imperial city. Young Master Jun is not here yet? I really want to see him soon. Yu Yunchang's heart was filled with anticipation. The reincarnation of the Arhut D, the infernal emperor Yi Guqin, the Ascendant King, and other young outlawed sky prides arrived. The entire original imperial city became lively. However, everyone seemed to be waiting for something. That was right. They were waiting for the arrival of that man. Buried Emperor Star. Inside an ancient cave, a graceful figure in a snow-white robe sat cross-legged in the cave, as if he had entered a meditative state. An indescribable vitality permeated Jun Xiaoyao's body. What was even more surprising was, at this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's surroundings and inside the ancient cave. Countless exotic flowers and grasses grew luxuriantly, and rich vitality permeated the air. Just the overflowing aura could produce such a scene. Jun Xiaoyao's vitality was also unprecedentedly vigorous. The vitality of the sacred body of the ancients was already vigorous enough. Now, with the addition of the spring of life, Jun Xiaoyao's life force was so full that it was about to overflow. If one were to observe Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, one would find that the space of his inner universe had doubled compared to before. It had reached a diameter of 2 light years. In the central region of the inner universe, on a star condensed from the earth element, a spring of life was located on it, swallowing and spitting out a huge amount of vitality essence. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe was still in its initial stages of development and did not have the ability to give birth to life. Therefore, even if there was a spring of life, it could not directly give birth to life. Even plants cannot be born. However, this was to lay the foundation. In the future, when Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe derived the rules of life, the spring of life would naturally play a great role. As Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe expanded, his strength also rose steadily and his aura soared. Only the great perfection of the great sage realm. Jun Xiaoyao opened his eyes and frowned slightly. He was slightly dissatisfied with his breakthrough speed. If other prodigy cultivators saw this, they would definitely gnash their teeth in hatred. One had to know that in the great sage realm, it was extremely difficult to break through a small realm. However, Jun Xiaoyao had broken through 5 stages in a row. From the early stage of the great sage realm, he directly broke through to the great perfection of the great sage realm. He was only 1 step away from the Holy Lord realm. Was he still not satisfied with this speed? Why would he still need a bicycle? However, what made Jun Xiaoyao slightly satisfied was that the number of Sumru worlds in his body had broken through to 260 because of the life energy of the spring of life. The harvest is not bad, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. His cultivation broke through 5 stages in a row and reached the great perfection of the great sage realm. The space in his inner universe had doubled. The number of Sumru worlds in his body had reached 260. He had also successfully cultivated the divine spirit immortality technique in the life book. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao's harvest this time was already very great. When I get the world tree in the ultimate trial ground and refine it into the inner universe, my strength will skyrocket. Not to mention breaking through to the Holy Lord realm, it's not impossible to directly break through to the quasi-supreme realm. Jun Xiaoyao pondered. Although the spring of life was rare, it was still inferior to the world tree. Moreover, the world tree was filled with the power of the world, and the enhancement to the inner universe was far greater than the spring of life. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao might really be able to use it to step into the 7th stage of the supreme realm. In that case, Jun Xiaoyao would definitely be the youngest supreme realm big shot in history. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao didn't forget that he still had a chance to sign in at the end of the ancient road. The sign-in should be at the ultimate trial ground, the core of the ruins of God. I have a feeling that the reward this time should be very special. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. After all, this sign-in spanned the entire ancient road. If it didn't give him something good, then the system would be a little stingy. What can I get this time? I'm looking forward to it. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. He left the ancient cave, where he was in seclusion. He checked on Princess Longji. She was still accepting the inheritance of the 9-fingered sage dragon emperor. The mysterious genius who defeated the young 9-fingered sage dragon emperor but didn't appear in the world. Could he be one of those seedlings buried in ancient history? Jun Xiaoyao had a guess in his heart. He shook his head slightly and casually used the 3rd seal. This way, no one could disturb Princess Longji from accepting the inheritance. After that, Jun Xiaoyao also left the buried Emperor's Star. At the end of the ancient road, the world of the ruins of God should be a little more interesting. The 7 renegade emperors and those foreign geniuses should be able to cause some trouble. After all, being invincible is really lonely. Chapter 831. Jun Xiaoyao set off from the buried Emperor's Star and headed to the end of the ancient road, the original imperial city. Naturally, there were no surprises along the way. To Jun Xiaoyao, the extremely dangerous ancient road of ultimate destination was nothing more than a sightseeing experience. With Jun Xiaoyao's speed and the teleportation formations along the way, it only took a month. Jun Xiaoyao arrived at the end of the ancient road of ultimate destination, the 108th checkpoint, the original imperial city. Looking at the majestic and incomparably ancient imperial city in front of him, which looked like a continent, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes also flashed with a faint light. He could feel that this city was extraordinary. It had existed since ancient times and had experienced countless upheavals. yet still stood tall. As long as the original imperial city did not fall, the immortal domain would be fine. However, for some reason, Jun Xiaoyao had a vague feeling. The invasion of the foreign domain in this era of great battles was probably far more violent than any invasion in the past. Perhaps this time, the original imperial city would. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly and came back to his senses. Even if the sky collapsed, the tall ones would hold it up. There was no need for him to worry. Moreover, the Jun family had stood tall in the immortal domain for countless years. They must have their own trump cards, so there was no need to worry too much. With his hands behind his back, Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the original imperial city. That's the Jun family, son of God. In the original imperial city, some sky prides sensed a powerful aura and entered the imperial city. Their gazes converged, and each of them was extremely shocked. That man was finally here. The entire outer area of the original imperial city was in an uproar. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the void, the sound of wind breaking could be heard. Those sky prides who came here heard the wind and gathered. Even the outlawed sky prides looked at Jun Xiaoyao with amazement in their eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's white robe was flawless. His entire body was shrouded in immortal radiance, and he looked divine and elegant. He was like an immortal walking in the mortal world. Many sky prides in the imperial city saw Jun Xiaoyao for the first time, and they could not hide the shock in their eyes. Some female sky prides' eyes were full of splendor. Such a banished immortal's temperament was too transcendent, making people unable to help but prostrate themselves in worship. With the Son of God here, I feel like I have more confidence in dealing with the other side. Right? I refuse to believe that there is someone more formidable than the Son of God in the foreign younger generation. Many heavenly talents said. From this, one could see that unknowingly, Jun Xiaoyao had already become the backbone of all the geniuses in the immortal realms. In the world of the ruins of God, as long as Jun Xiaoyao did not fall, they would have confidence. In the distance, a young and handsome monk was sitting cross-legged on a white jade dragon elephant. Reincarnated Arhut D. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at him indifferently. He had seen Brahma of the Western Paradise sect before. However, compared to the reincarnated Arhut D in front of him, Lord Brahma was still lacking. This Arhut D was surrounded by ancient Buddhist light. He was the reincarnation of one of the bigwigs of the Buddhist schools who had awakened his innate wisdom. On the other side of the sky, dark chi surged as a blurry figure stood within it. The son of hell is also here. Some heavenly talents exclaimed. This top heavenly talent of the Netherworld King bloodline was known as the Grim Reaper. One could see how powerful he was. There was a trace of coldness in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. The Netherworld King bloodline had interfered in the Jun family's immortal war, so he only had killing intent towards this bloodline. The son of hell's cold eyes were like the cold stars in the sky. Obviously, he also had hostility towards Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao, we meet again. There was the sound of clanging swords. A young man in black with cold facial features came over on a sword. Yi Guqin. Jun Xiaoyao's expression eased a little. He had a good impression of Yi Guqin. The supreme sword technique created by himself, the 10,000 deities tribulation, was still fresh in his memory. And now, Yi Guqin's strength was obviously not what it used to be. We'll have another chance to fight again, but before that, we can compete to see who can kill more foreign beings, Yi Guqin said calmly. Sure. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. Young Master Jun. A joyful voice was heard. A man and a woman came from afar. It was Yu Huashang and Yu Huashang. Yu Huashang came to Jun Xiaoyao. Her face was flushed, and she was a little excited. Brother Jun, long time no see. Yu Huashang smiled as well. The surrounding cultivators clicked their tongues when they saw the supreme outlawed sky prides appearing one after another. These young masters, who were rarely seen, all showed up to pay attention to Jun Xiaoyao's arrival. It was obvious that Jun Xiaoyao had a prominent position among the younger generation of the immortal realm. It seems like the ultimate trial hasn't opened yet, Jun Xiaoyao said. If it had, these heavenly talents would not have stayed here. If Brother June doesn't come, who else can carry the banner of the immortal realm's younger generation? Yu Huashang chatted happily with Jun Xiaoyao like an old friend. Brother Yu Huashang, you're flattering me, Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. By the way, there's something I think you should know, Yu Huashang said. Then, he briefly told Jun Xiaoyao about Yu Chanwan. Because I'm not related to Yu Chanwan, it's not appropriate for me to interfere. However, I heard that Brother Jun is related to her, so I'm telling you, Yu Huashang said. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Those who knew him well knew what that smile meant. Although Jun Xiaoyao did not accept Yu Chanwan as his follower, he was the one who saved Yu Chanwan. Moreover, the Taiyin jade hair was also captured. Even if it was for the cute Taiyin jade hair, Jun Xiaoyao would not turn a blind eye. After all, the feeling of petting a rabbit was not bad. The descendants of the gatekeeper's family. Huh? They're quite brave, Jun Xiaoyao said with a playful tone. Yu Huashang frowned and warned, Brother Jun, the gatekeeper's family has a special status. You can't kill them like how you treat others. Otherwise, you'll be criticized. That's why they're fearless and dare to provoke me. However, it's a pity that they've misjudged my character. After Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, he waved his sleeves and spoke again. This time, he used his spiritual power. His voice was majestic and spread out like waves. If I don't see you in 15 minutes, don't blame me for staining the imperial city with blood today. Boom! A boundless aura exploded from Jun Xiaoyao's body. It was extremely cold like a torch and caused a huge commotion in the original imperial city. Peak Great Sage. Sensing this aura, Yu Huashang's pupils trembled. Not only him, but the Yama Emperor reincarnated Arhut D, and the others were also shocked. Peak Great Sage Stage. Previously, the Jun family son of God had just broken through to the Great Sage Stage. How did he reach the peak of the Great Sage Stage now? Everyone was shocked. All the Sky Prides were dumbfounded. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation was one of the reasons for their shock. The other reason was Jun Xiaoyao's attitude towards the gatekeeper's family. Previously, everyone was guessing if Jun Xiaoyao would hold back when facing the gatekeeper's family. Now, it seemed that he was still as domineering as before. He did not hold back because of the gatekeeper's family special status. Almost at the same time, in the original imperial city, in the Kai family, Pang family, and Hong family, the three gatekeeper families. Kai Song, Pang Fei, and Hong Qian's expressions changed when they heard this voice. The pressure in that voice made them feel a little scared. In the Kai family, the mysterious Star Saint Protector said, "It's fine. You guys go. He won't dare to touch you." Yes, we naturally have the confidence. Kai Song regained his confidence. Not to mention the Star Saint Protector and the Lord behind him. Just based on his identity as a gatekeeper, would Jun Xiaoyao really dare to kill him in the original imperial city? Thinking of this, Kai Song led a team of Iron Cloak soldiers and left for Jun Xiaoyao's side. Pang Fei, Hong Qian, and the others did the same. In the original imperial city, the gatekeeper's family was the heavens. Who would dare to rebel? Chapter 832. In the original imperial city, Jun Xiaoyao stood leisurely with his hands behind his back. After shouting that sentence, Jun Xiaoyao did not move. But everyone understood. If Kai Song and the other two did not do anything, the situation would be really bad. If the descendants of the other immortal forces were to face the descendants of the gatekeepers, they might choose to retreat. Bear with it for a while, and the wind will be calm. Take a step back, and the sky will be clear. But Jun Xiaoyao was not such a person. Less than half an hour later, sonorous footsteps could be heard in the distance. Kai Song, Pang Fei, and Hong Qian arrived with 3 teams of Iron Cloak soldiers. All the geniuses around were watching. On one side were the descendants of the gatekeepers, who were respected by thousands of people in the mystic realm and had a special status. On the other side was the powerful and domineering son of God of the Jun family. How would this conflict end? Son of God of the Jun family. Seeing is believing. You are indeed extraordinary. After the 3 families arrived, Kai Song cupped his hand slightly, but there was a hint of politeness. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed extraordinary and was now the number one of the younger generation in the mystic realm. But who knew if he would still be the same in the future? Kai Song knew that if the lord they chose to follow was born, his prestige would not be weaker than Jun Xiaoyao. After all, that lord had a super strong physique that was unparalleled in history. It could even be better than the sacred body of the ancients. Where is she? Jun Xiaoyao looked down and said indifferently. Kai Song heard that, and his eyes changed slightly. He then said, "Son of God of the Jun family, as far as I know, although you saved Yu Chanwan once, she doesn't seem to be your follower. She has nothing to do with you, right?" Jun Xiaoyao was expressionless and said again, "This son of God is asking again. Where is she? Son of God of the Jun family, since Yu Chanwan is not important to you, why don't you make a request as long as we can fulfill it?" To be honest, Kai Song thought that he had already restrained himself. If it were the geniuses of other immortal forces, they wouldn't even bat an eyelid. After all, those people wouldn't dare to offend them. However, it was impossible to say that Jun Xiaoyao's momentum wasn't weak at all. Therefore, Kai Song thought that if he could avoid falling out with them, then he would. Jun Xiaoyao's expression remained unchanged, as cold as frost. He asked for the third time, for the last time, "Where is he?" Before Kai Song could get angry, Pang Fei couldn't help but raise his eyebrows and shout, "That's enough, Jun Xiaoyao. We're treating you with courtesy because of the Jun Xiaoyao. Don't fail to appreciate our kindness. We want him. We won't hand him over to you." Pang Fei's cold shout resounded throughout the heavens and earth. As the descendants of the glorious gatekeeper, they were revered and revered by everyone. This was the first time he had spoken so humbly to someone else. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao didn't seem to care, which made Pang Fei extremely unhappy. The surrounding geniuses were all dumbfounded. There was actually someone who dared to berate Jun Xiaoyao? Even if he wanted to die, this wasn't the way to do it, right? Jun Xiaoyao sighed. "I've already said it 3 times. I, the Son of God, have been merciful and tolerant to the descendants of the gatekeepers." However, Jun Xiaoyao paused, then stepped on the Kuan Pang's extreme speed. His figure seemed to have teleported as he swept in front of Pang Fei. Oh no! The ironclad soldier behind Pang Fei reacted quickly. However, there was nothing they could do. Jun Xiaoyao was even faster. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao pointed a finger, which was surrounded by lightning runes. The Lightning Emperor's Grand Theurgy, Lightning Emperor Finger. With his current cultivation base, even a great saint of the same level would be killed in an instant. Not to mention a good-for-nothing like Pang Fei. Normally, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't even look at such a person. Splat! Jun Xiaoyao's finger pierced through Pang Fei's forehead, and even his primordial spirit was directly strangled. A gatekeeper's descendant was dead. Dead silence. There was absolute silence between heaven and earth. Killing a gatekeeper's descendant in the original imperial city was simply something that had never happened before. "Jun Xiaoyao, you're crazy." At the side, Hong Qian covered her cheeks with her jade-like hands and screamed. Jun Xiaoyao actually dared to attack. Impudent. The ironclad soldiers of the Pang family unleashed their auras, and their killing intent surged as they charged toward Jun Xiaoyao. There was no lack of great saints among them, and their killing intent was monstrous. Facing this group of people, Jun Xiaoyao snorted coldly and stomped his foot. With a thud, the soldiers were sent flying. "You've all been on the battlefield and killed enemies. Are you going to lose your lives for a good-for-nothing?" Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. The soldiers' eyes were filled with shock. Jun Xiaoyao's aura was too terrifying. They couldn't even summon the slightest strength to resist. At the same time, they felt a bit conflicted. Just now, if Jun Xiaoyao really wanted to kill them, they would already be in the Yellow Springs. Murder. The Jun family son of God wantonly slaughtered our gatekeeper's descendant. Our ancestors laid down their heads for the immortal region, spilling their blood and dying in foreign lands without regret. Now, our descendants are being slaughtered by the immortal region's people. Hong Qian screamed loudly. This attracted even more people in the original imperial city. As for those big shots, they stayed in the depths of the imperial city and the border all year round, and wouldn't easily come to the outskirts. A few people who didn't know the cause and effect frowned when they saw this. Even those who knew the cause and effect thought that Jun Xiaoyao was too reckless and his actions were a bit extreme. Does the Jun family son of God really have to rely on killing to solve problems? Isn't it too cruel to treat the gatekeeper's descendant like this? That's right. It's just two women. The Jun family son of God killed the gatekeeper's descendant for women. It's not right. Such voices gradually sounded in the surroundings. This was the reason why gossip was a fearful thing. This is troublesome. The Ascendant King also frowned slightly. How can this be? It's clearly the gatekeeper's descendant's fault. Yu Yanchang was incomparably furious. Facing the clamor from all directions, Kai Song's eyes flashed with a trace of sneer. This was the reason why they dared to provoke Jun Xiaoyao. With a heroic background, what were they afraid of? Hong Qian's face was pale. She was screaming loudly, but there was a trace of mockery and gloating in her eyes. You, Jun Xiaoyao, are strong. You have a strong background too. But so what? Would you be able to stop everyone's criticism and long-winded mouths? A mouthful of saliva from each person could drown Jun Xiaoyao. Facing such a situation, even the geniuses from the immortal forces would panic. However, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still indifferent. In his previous life, he was used to seeing such things. A bunch of trolls who were unreasonable and only knew how to vent their self-righteousness with their mouths and keyboards. They were still smug, thinking that they had done the right thing. Such a group of hypocritical guardians of justice who stood on the moral high ground only made Jun Xiaoyao feel disgusted. Shut up! A cold voice sounded, shaking the surroundings. Everyone felt suffocated. There were even some who were directly knocked over. The blood in their chests churned, and they couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. The dead won't be noisy. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. He slapped Hong Qian with a backhand. Hong Qian's face was distorted, and she was incomparably terrified. The surrounding soldiers of the Hong family tried to stop Jun Xiaoyao, but they were no match for him. Bang! The palm wind tore Hong Qian's delicate body apart. Her blood and bones were smashed into minced meat, as if she had been cut into pieces by 1,000 knives. Her sharp mouth could no longer speak because her mouth was gone. As for her primordial spirit, it was also smashed into ashes by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. The whole place was dead silent. Ignoring the criticism of the crowd, Jun Xiaoyao killed the descendant of the gatekeeper again. This was no longer lawless. It was simply unscrupulous. What does the criticism of the world have to do with me? If I want to kill, who dares to stop me? Chapter 833. Jun Xiaoyao's words were sonorous, and they shook the surroundings. Many prodigies' faces turned pale. This was the first time they experienced Jun Xiaoyao's power. It was a kind of supreme dominance that surpassed all living beings in the 9 heavens. He didn't care at all, and he didn't care about the cold eyes and criticism of the people of the world. For a moment, all sound seemed to have been sucked away. It was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves, and his eyes were cold and disdainful as he looked at Kai Song, who was trembling like a lamb. A bunch of bastards who only know how to rely on the reputation of their ancestors to intimidate others. Their deaths are not regrettable. In terms of heroes, these gatekeepers were indeed heroes worthy of respect. But don't forget that Jun Xiaoyao's father, Jun Wuhui, was also a hero. In that case, Jun Xiaoyao was also a descendant of a hero. It was precisely because of this that Jun Xiaoyao hated Kai Song and the others' actions even more. Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't feel the slightest bit of guilt for killing them. You. Seeing Pang Fei and Hong Qian die in an instant, Kai Song's face turned pale and his voice trembled. He couldn't speak clearly. Fear seized his brain. He knew that Jun Xiaoyao was very powerful and had always been fearless. But he didn't expect him to be so powerful. In the original imperial city, he killed the gatekeeper's descendants without hesitation. This kind of person was the most terrifying, because he had no scruples and would only do things according to his heart. If it was an ordinary prodigy who acted like this, they would have died countless times already. But Jun Xiaoyao was different. He had the capital. An invincible family was supporting him. He was also an invincible existence among the younger generation of the celestial realm. When such a person acted without scruples, the sky would collapse. This son of God gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Now it's too late. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly, his eyes cold and emotionless. He casually pointed a finger, and the lightning emperor's finger pierced through the void and crushed toward Kai Song. "No, my lord, save me." Kai Song was so scared that he almost wet his pants. The feeling of being on the verge of death made him feel as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Just then, a powerful ray of starlight fell from the sky and collided with the finger of the Thunder Emperor. A figure wearing a silver cloak and a white mask appeared in the void. A wave of great saint realm fluctuations spread out. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. The surrounding people were also surprised. They didn't expect that someone would dare to stop Jun Xiaoyao at this time. Jun Xiaoyao, you still dare to act so recklessly in the original Emperor's city? You have no rules at all. Isn't this a little too much? The person who appeared was naturally Star Protector. He was also the follower of the mysterious lord that Kai Song and the others spoke of. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao thought for a while and understood something. Previously, he also found it strange. No matter how unbearable the descendant of the gatekeeper was, he was still a good-for-nothing. They wouldn't go as far as to snatch the sacred body of lunar physique just because they saw it. There should be more to it. As expected, it turned out that Kai Song and the others were just lackeys. Kai Song and the others took you Chanwan away for the sake of my lord. I advise you to avoid trouble and let it go, Star Protector said coldly. Hearing this, the surrounding Sky Prides were shocked. They could sense Star Protector's cultivation aura. He was not much weaker than the supreme outlawed Sky Prides. Yet, he was just a follower? Then, what kind of terrifying existence was the master behind him? Could it be that the seed is about to be born? The Ascendant King's expression became slightly more serious. Brother, do you mean that there's a seed-level figure behind them? Yu Yanchang was also aware of the situation. That's right. If that's the case, it means that the seed buried in the ancient history might be ready to bloom. When that happens, the situation of the younger generation in the immortal domain will change drastically and be reshuffled. Brother Jun, it'll be very difficult for you to be the number one person among the younger generation. The Ascendant King sighed slightly. Those who were treated as seeds were all top-notch Sky Prides in this era. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao, the defiant Seven Sovereigns, and the supreme outlawed Sky Prides were all qualified to be the seed-level figures of this era. However, the time they took to grow was much shorter than those seeds. Therefore, they were at a disadvantage. Star Protector's words made the crowd think of many things. There was probably an extremely extraordinary person standing behind him. Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change as he said coldly, I, the Son of God, do not want to talk to a lackey. Tell the person behind you to come out. Jun Xiaoyao. You. Star Protector's eyes flashed coldly. Jun Xiaoyao should have guessed that the person behind him was a seed-level figure. Moreover, it was an absolute taboo among the seeds. Even so, Jun Xiaoyao did not give him any face. My master has yet to be born. However, when he's born, Star Protector said coldly. However, Jun Xiaoyao frowned before he was able to finish his sentence and threw a punch at him. Shut up. Rumble. Golden chi and blood surged like a heavenly waterfall and swept in all directions. The giant hand, intertwined with the laws, pressed down on Star Protector like a golden sky, crushing down. With Jun Xiaoyao's current great sage, great perfection, level strength, he could crush someone like Star Protector like a dog. Jun Xiaoyao, you dare to attack my master. Star Protector shouted angrily and unleashed all of his strength. There was even a galaxy phenomenon. However, under this palm, everything was turned into ashes. His physical body collapsed, his primordial spirit dissipated, and his body and spirit were destroyed. I don't care who's behind you. If he dares to come out, I'll kill him. Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeves, not minding the matter at all. Everyone was dumbfounded. A powerhouse who was close to becoming a supreme outlawed sky pride was killed by Jun Xiaoyao with a single slap. They were both great saints, but how could there be such a huge gap between them? Even a holy lord would need 2 or 3 moves to deal with a great saint. He's not the reincarnation of a great emperor, but he's stronger than one. The reincarnated Bodhisattva D's eyes were deep. He's that strong? Amidst the rolling black mist, the Yinma Emperor's eyes were also very solemn. As expected of you. Yi Guqin was also a little emotional. It could be said that although Jun Xiaoyao's realm was great perfection level, his strength was far beyond a great saint powerhouse. It could even be said that Jun Xiaoyao was not weaker than those seeds who were about to be born. Jun Xiaoyao had caught up with those top-notch taboo seeds buried in history when he was only in his 20s. This kind of talent and strength was shocking. You killed Lord Star Protector. Kai Song was so scared that his soul was about to leave his body. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold, and he said calmly, as the descendant of the guardian hero, you're willing to be someone else's lackey, groveling and servile. I, the son of God, feel ashamed for your ancestors. You actually slandered our guardian bloodline like this. Kai Song's face turned red. Jun Xiaoyao humiliated him in public. It was really humiliating. Why don't you come with me to the world of divine ruins? Let's compete to see who can kill more foreign creatures. Jun Xiaoyao sneered. Kai Song was immediately speechless. With his trash strength, wasn't going to the world of divine ruins like sending food to the foreign geniuses? He wouldn't even know how he died. Seeing Kai Song's performance, many cultivators were speechless. The descendant of a hero was actually such a coward, as timid as a mouse. You don't dare? Then let me, the son of God, clean up the house for the guardian family. As his words fell, Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and attacked Kai Song. Kai Song's face turned pale, and his crotch was wet. He was so scared that he peed his pants. Seeing this, the surrounding geniuses couldn't stand it anymore. How could the descendant of this guardian be described as unbearable? That's enough, stop. A cold shout rang out, and at the same time, an aura that was far more powerful than a 9th stage saint spread out. Quasi-supreme stage. Uncle, save me. Kai Song screamed as if he had found a life-saving straw. Chapter 834. In the distance, a middle-aged man in a brocade robe walked through the void. He was a manager of the Kai family. His name was Kai Ji, and his cultivation was at the quasi-supreme stage. The real big shots of the Kai family were all in the depths of the imperial city or at the border. They had no time to stay in the family. Seeing the bloody scene in front of him and Kai Song's miserable appearance, Kai Ji's face turned cold. Jun Xiaoyao, this is the original imperial city, not the Huangtian mystic realm. In the Huangtian mystic realm, the Jun family can do whatever they want. But here, it's better to behave, Kai Ji said coldly. Although Jun Xiaoyao had killed the descendants of the gatekeepers, he couldn't make things too difficult. There was only one reason. That was Jun Wuhui. After all, Jun Wuhui had a great reputation at the border. But recently, Jun Wuhui's disappearance had caused quite a stir. Uncle, that Jun Xiaoyao massacred the people of the gatekeepers. You have to do something about it for me. Kai Song cried and came to Kai Ji's side. That's enough. Stop crying and wailing. What scandal? Kai Ji shouted. Even he couldn't bear to watch. But Kai Ji knew about Kai Song, Xing Xinghu, and mysterious master behind him. He also turned a blind eye to it. After all, the origin of the mysterious master was shocking even to him. It could be said that if they could really ride on the coattails of that master, the Kai family could indeed prosper. Jun Xiaoyao, you've killed him. Let's both take a step back. As for the Peng family and the Hong family, I'll deal with them. How about that? Kai Ji said. Hand her over. Jun Xiaoyao was indifferent. He didn't have the slightest respect for Kai Ji just because he was a quasi-supreme stage. Yu Chanwan is to be offered to that master. We can't hand her over, Kai Song objected. The arrival of Kai Ji, a quasi-supreme expert, allowed Kai Song to regain his composure and become fearless. No matter how strong Jun Xiaoyao was, he could only display his prowess at the 9th level of the Saint Realm. A 7th level supreme martial artist was not someone a Saint Realm cultivator could afford to offend. It seems that you really want to die. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes shone with a cold light as he attacked Kai Song again. Jun Xiaoyao, you've gone too far, Kai Ji said calmly. The Great Saint Realm was indeed very strong. But in front of him, a quasi-supreme martial artist, what could he do? Kai Ji struck out with his palm, and the might of a quasi-supreme swept out. Jun Xiaoyao attacked Kai Ji. At the same time, the power of the 260 Sumru worlds in his body exploded. His saintly body's blood essence surged and attacked Kai Ji. What? The son of God of the Jun family actually attacked Supreme Kai Ji. All the geniuses were petrified. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, no one would believe that a great saint dared to attack a supreme martial artist. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. As soon as Kai Ji finished speaking, he immediately felt a boundless and terrifying pressure crushing toward him. It was like a world was rolling toward him. The power of 260 Summer worlds was extremely terrifying. The void collapsed, and all kinds of chaotic energy and spatial turbulence filled the air. It even triggered the original Imperial City's defense, and many ancient defensive Dao patterns appeared. Boom! The terrifying collision burst out a huge wave of magic power. Jun Xiaoyao and Kai Ji were almost knocked back at the same time. However, Jun Xiaoyao pointed his finger at Yi Futian as he was sent flying. No! Kai Song's fearless face instantly turned into despair. Uffed! Killed with one finger. Kai Song dead? Jun Xiaoyao. Kai Ji's expression froze, and he couldn't believe it. Everyone's expression was the same as his. Their eyes were wide open, their mouths were agape, their souls were trembling, and their scalps were numb. That was a quasi-supreme, a big shot who had stepped into the 7th stage supreme martial artist. He actually fought to a draw with Jun Xiaoyao. What was this? Even the reincarnated Bodhisattva D, the Yama Emperor, and other outlaw geniuses couldn't keep calm when they saw this scene. To be fair, if they used some trump cards, they could also resist a few moves from a quasi-supreme. However, the problem was that Jun Xiaoyao just casually attacked, and he didn't use his real trump card. The gap between them was huge. Your Kai Ji? What a rookie, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. Kai Ji was considered weak among the quasi-supreme. He probably hadn't been to the foreign battlefield much. Junior, you're too arrogant. Kai Ji's heart was filled with anger. He was a quasi-supreme, and Jun Xiaoyao, a junior in the Great Saint Realm, killed Kai Song right under his nose. Moreover, he even exchanged a palm with him. However, what shocked Kai Ji was that Jun Xiaoyao's divine power was as vast as the universe. Perhaps some supreme being powerhouse's physical strength was not as good as Jun Xiaoyao's, not to mention a quasi-supreme like him. Today, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of Jun Wuhui, Kai Ji said coldly. He couldn't kill Jun Xiaoyao. The consequences would be too terrifying. However, he could still teach him a lesson. Unexpectedly, Jun Xiaoyao's face suddenly turned cold when he heard this. He shouted, "Who do you think you are? Why do you have to teach me a lesson on behalf of my father?" Jun Wei was not someone a mere quasi-supreme martial artist like him could compare to. Boom! The two of them exchanged another blow. What made everyone's jaws drop was, even if Kai Ji fought seriously, he still couldn't suppress Jun Xiaoyao. You're really a rookie, Yu Yinchang laughed. At the same time, in the deepest part of the original Imperial City, in a certain spatial fault, some old antiques with high seniority were sitting cross-legged and cultivating. Suddenly, these old antiques opened their eyes and woke up from their cultivation. What's going on? Has the Imperial City's defensive formation been activated? There's the aura of a supreme being. Could it be that a supreme being from another domain has sneaked into the Imperial City? At that aura, it's from the Kai family, an old antique said. In the crowd, an old man in a green robe changed his expression. He was an ancestor of the Kai family named Kai Chong. It's that kid Kai Ji. No, his opponent, that aura. As if he had sensed something, Kai Chong's expression changed drastically. Damn it, did we offend that family? Kai Chong hurriedly got up. At the border, many of the guarding elders were on that family's side. "What's wrong, Daoist Kai Chong?" An old man in a blue robe and an old woman in a red robe came forward. They were one of the ancestors of the Pang family and the Hong family. The three families were relatively close. "Something's wrong." Kai Chong left the space without looking back. The patriarchs of the other two clans exchanged glances with one another. Then they followed suit. At about the same time, in another space, there was a tall tower. An old man in a linen robe sat cross-legged on the tower. The primal chaos chi lingered around his body, endlessly swallowing and spitting out countless ripples in the air. He was a seventh-level supreme being, a terrifying expert at the chaotic Tao sovereign level. But the most eye-catching thing was the 4 terrifying claw scars on the old man's forehead. Those were permanent scars left behind by his battle with the top experts of the foreign evil dragon bloodline. Because of the 4 scars on his forehead, the people of the original imperial city and the border all called him the Fourth Master Scar. The Fourth Master Scar was an elder of the border with an extremely high status. Several generations of his ancestors had died on the foreign battlefield. It was extremely tragic, and he was the only one left. This kind of sacrifice allowed Fourth Brother Bossy's prestige to be extremely high in the original Emperor's city and the border. He was almost an elder of the Gatekeeper bloodline. Even some of the ancestors of the Gatekeeper families had to bow respectfully when they saw him. At this moment, the Fourth Master Scar, who was meditating with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his old eyes. There was a hint of shock in his eyes. "That aura, it's the bloodline of our benefactor." The Fourth Master Scar stood up, and the chaotic energy around him surged like a tide. But he seemed to have sensed something, and a hint of unprecedented anger appeared in his eyes. "Damn it! Our benefactor guarded the border for many years, and his name shook the foreign domain. But his bloodline was suppressed in the Imperial City. Who did it? I'll skin him alive." The Fourth Master Scar roared angrily. This feeling was like an iron-blooded general guarding the border for the country, and he was willing to go through fire and water. But in the end, his son was being bullied. How could he not be angry? The Fourth Master Scar directly tore through the void and left with monstrous anger. Chapter 835. In the outer region of the original Imperial City, there was the sound of the void cracking, and there were ripples of magic power. However, this kind of exchange caused everyone to be stunned. A quasi-supreme against a great saint. Logically speaking, it should be a complete crushing. However, the current situation was that the head of the Kai family, Kai Ji, had already exchanged more than 10 moves with Jun Xiaoyao. However, he couldn't suppress him. Of course, Kai Ji didn't use any trump cards. If he still had to use his trump cards to deal with a great saint, he really didn't care about his reputation at all. Kai Ji didn't have to stay in the original Imperial City anymore. Even a finger of a quasi-supreme is enough to severely injure a divine lord-level expert, but it can't do anything to the son of God of the Jun family. Moreover, the son of God of the Jun family didn't even try to force it, let alone get hurt. In the face of Kai Ji's moves, Jun Xiaoyao dealt with them very calmly. With his current cultivation, he really didn't have to worry about dealing with a weaker quasi-supreme like Kai Ji. At this moment, the void trembled, and 3 figures of old men filled with the aura of supremes appeared. "Stop!" The leading old man in green robe shouted. It was Kai Chong of the Kai family. In addition, the Pang family's ancestor and the Hong family's old woman also followed. Old ancestor. Kai Ji's expression was awkward and embarrassed. The most embarrassing thing was that he and Kai Song had utterly embarrassed the Kai family. The most embarrassing thing was that although he knew what Kai Song had done, he could only turn a blind eye to it. He also didn't report it to the old ancestor, because in his opinion, hugging someone's thigh was also beneficial to the Kai family. To be honest, he was really tired of guarding the border. Why couldn't they, the gatekeeper families, be like those immortal forces peacefully develop in the immortal realm? It was because of this dissatisfaction and selfishness that Kai Ji would cover up what Kai Song had done. Jun Xiaoyao stopped what he was doing and smirked coldly. "Is this what the old one looks like after beating up the young one? Are you really his son?" Kai Chong was shocked. He secretly cursed his own family for daring to provoke such a big trouble. My father is Jun Wuhui. I would like to see how you will deal with today's matter. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back, his white robes fluttering in the wind. The more Kai Chong watched, the more frightened he became. Jun Xiaoyao's bearing and image were practically carved from the same mold as the white-robed God King. No, it seemed to be even more outstanding. In the future, he might be a peerless figure that surpassed the white-clothed divine king. Bastard! What the hell is going on? Kai Chong was so angry that his liver hurt. The expressions of the Peng family's patriarch and the Hong family's old lady were also unsightly. The reason for that was because they had also noticed that Peng Fei and Hong Qian had died there. However, before Kai Ji could explain, space suddenly split open and chaotic energy spilled out. An old man in linen robes strode through space with seemingly material flames of rage. Motherf asterisk her, which bastard dares to bully the descendant of our benefactor? The terrifying chaotic energy covered the entire area. Some of the heavenly talents were even directly knocked to the ground. Dao Master Hundun. Everyone was shocked. Who would have thought that a battle between the younger generation would not only attract a patriarch? Now, even Dao Master Hundun had appeared. It's the fourth Master Scar. Seeing the old man in linen robes, the expressions of Kai Chong and the others suddenly changed. The fourth Master Scar's position in the lineage of the gatekeepers was unquestionable. And the person whom the fourth Master Scar respected the most was Jun Wuhui. Jun Wuhui had even saved his life on the battlefield of the foreign realm. It's you. The fourth Master Scar locked his gaze on Kai Ji at a glance. No. Fourth Master Scar, facing the fourth Master Scar, who was at the level of Dao Master Hundun, Kai Ji had really become a weakling, trembling like a quail. Boom! Without another word, the fourth Master Scar directly attacked Kai Ji and gave him a good beating. Poof! 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 Kai Ji, who had the demeanor of a powerhouse, was now like a broken sack being swung around by the fourth Master Scar. Boom! 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 The ground of the original Imperial City was incomparably sturdy, with many ancient defensive runes engraved on it. But now, the fourth Master Scar was swinging Kai Ji and smashing him to the ground, causing web-like cracks to spread. A Quasi-Supreme and Dao Master Hundun were simply not on the same level. The fourth Master Scar was beating Kai Ji as if he was playing a game. Fourth Master Scar. Wait, spare me. Let's talk this out. Kai Ji did not dare to resist at all, nor did he have the ability to resist. He spat out blood and screamed. Looking at the miserable state Kai Ji was in, the corners of the eyes of the heavenly talents present twitched slightly. What miserable state, fourth Master Scar, please calm down first. Let's talk things out before making a decision, Kai Chong said with cupped fists. Although he was an ancestor-level figure, in front of a senior figure like the fourth Master Scar, he was still inferior. After all, they were only the ancestors of the various families, while the fourth Master Scar enjoyed extremely high prestige in the entire lineage of the gatekeepers. Humph! The fourth Master Scar heavily smashed Kai Ji to the ground. Crack! A series of bone-cracking sounds rang out. A dignified quasi-supreme martial artist was now badly battered and bleeding profusely. Countless bones in his body were broken, and even his teeth had fallen out. He was no better than a beggar in the secular world. The fourth Master Scar coldly glanced at Kai Ji, then turned around and looked at Jun Xiaoyao. That old face that was filled with anger immediately calmed down and even overflowed with a smile. Similar, indeed similar. The fourth Master Scar chuckled. Senior, thank you for your help. I wonder if you... Jun Xiaoyao slightly cupped his fists, his eyes filled with doubt. He could see that this old man was kind and benevolent towards him. However, he was not clear about the situation at the border, let alone the old man's identity. However, he was sure that this old man in front of him was not from the Jun family. Haha, you must be Xiaoyao. You are indeed carved from the same mold as our benefactor. The fourth Master Scar chuckled. Benefactor? Jun Xiaoyao caught this point. At the side, the Ascendant King opened his mouth and explained. I see. My father saved you before. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly, finally understanding. Yes, I still remember that when I was patrolling in the battlefield of the foreign realm, I was ambushed by some old foxes from the foreign realm. The 4 scars on my head were left by the Dao Masters of the foreign realm's evil dragon bloodline. At that time, a few Dao Masters from the foreign realm surrounded me. In the end, our benefactor appeared. I still can't forget our benefactor's grace at that time. His white robe fluttered in the wind, and with a simple wave of his hand, he killed a few Dao Masters from the chaos as if they were dust. The 4th Master Scar could not help but reveal a look of reverence when he said this. Jun Wuhui's grace and charisma could be seen from the fact that a senior figure like the 4th Master Scar respected him so much. Hearing this, many Sky Prides in the surroundings clenched their fists slightly, their hearts surging with emotions. The White-Robed Supreme being Jun Wuhui, this was the ideal and perfect hero in their hearts. With a wave of his hand, a Dao Master from the chaos fell. How terrifying was that? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. To be honest, he was not sure what realm his father was at. However, it seemed that his father was at least at the Quasi-Emperor realm. In addition, Jun Wuhui had a terrifying battle record of killing quasi-supreme beings at the Saint realm. No one would be able to guess what his true strength was. In that case, I am also considered a powerful 2nd generation. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Chapter 836. What's going on here? You'd better give us an explanation. The 4th Master Scar turned to look at the 3 Guardian families with an unfriendly expression. If it weren't for the Guardian's special identity, he would have slapped Kai Ji to death. Kai Ji, what's going on? Tell the 4th Master Scar, Kai Chong shouted coldly. These ancestors were all in seclusion in the depths of the Imperial City, constantly observing the situation at the border. They weren't too clear about the situation of their families. Kai Ji's throat tightened, and he couldn't speak. It seems that you want to be locked in the dungeon, the 4th Master Scar said coldly. Kai Ji's body trembled violently when he heard this. What kind of place was the dungeon? It was a place where criminals of the foreign domain were locked up. Being locked up there was worse than death. I'll talk. Kai Ji could only grit his teeth and tell him what he knew. After speaking, Kai Chong's face immediately became extremely gloomy. Shame. Absolute shame. As a hero family, the descendants of the Guardians. These descendants actually wanted to kneel down and suck up to others, then withdraw from the border. This was already more than tarnishing the wisdom of their ancestors. It was simply betraying the beliefs of the Guardians. The belief of the Guardians was to lay down their heads for the immortal region, shed their blood, and guard the border forever. Foolish, Kai Chong sighed deeply. Perhaps it was because the immortal region had been peaceful for too long. There hadn't been a war for too long, so the younger generation had forgotten who fought for this peaceful territory. Without the blood of the ancestors, how could the descendants have any shade? The 4th Master Scar's face was also very cold. He said in a deep voice, "It seems that you all only want to enjoy the glory of your ancestors and not be willing to shed blood and sacrifice like your ancestors." No. Kai Ji's face flushed red. A dignified, quasi-supreme master's Dao heart was actually shaken. Besides, this time it's all our fault. Xiaoyao, I'm sorry. Kai Chong and the others clasped their hands towards Jun Xiaoyao. Logically and emotionally, they were wrong. Looking at the attitude of the 3 patriarchs, Jun Xiaoyao's expression softened slightly. Although there was some dandy scum among the young people of these families, but these old people still had faith. Otherwise, he would not have been stationed at the border all this time. Jun Xiaoyao also calmly cupped his hands and said, "Seniors, there's no need for this. Since the culprit is already dead, just hand over my people and I'll let it go." Jun Xiaoyao was not the kind of person who would pester her. "Of course. Why don't you go and bring him here?" Kai Chong nodded hurriedly. The Kai family also sent people to fetch you Chanwan and tying Jade Hair. We can't just let it go like this. We have to be clear about the rewards and punishments. Next time, if a war breaks out in the otherworldly battlefield, the 3 of you will charge at the front. 4th Master Scar said in a low voice. Yes. Kai Chong and the others did not object. Kai Ji opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he swallowed his words. In a cruel place like the otherworldly battlefield, even as strong as a supreme, there was a high possibility of death. However, he did not dare to refute anything and could only accept his fate. Xiaoyao, I'm sorry that you encountered such unpleasant things when you just came to the Imperial City. Fourth Master Scar was a little embarrassed. After all, this was also his territory. In the end, he let the son of his benefactor suffer such treatment. His face was also gloomy. Senior, don't say that. I still have to thank you for your help. Jun Xiaoyao smiled, as modest as a gentleman. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao, Fourth Master Scar's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Like father, like son. When it was time to act, he was decisive and did not hesitate. But when it was time to be humble, he was gentle like a gentleman. Such temperament, such talent, such strength. Jun Xiaoyao deserved to be a one-of-a-kind monster. By the way, as an apology, Xiaoyao can go to the Merit Hall and choose something for free. Fourth Master Scar chuckled. Hearing the 3 words Merit Hall, the eyes of the surrounding cultivators in the original Imperial City instantly turned red. Their eyes were filled with excitement and desire. That was a place that all the border cultivators dreamed of entering. As if seeing the confusion in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, Fourth Master Scar explained. Although the otherworldly battlefield has been quiet for a long time and has not launched a large-scale attack, small conflicts and small-scale battles still happen from time to time. The Merit Hall was built a long time ago. There are many divine powers and cultivation methods passed down by the immortal realm forces, ancient sects, supreme dynasties, and clan of the ancients. There are also all kinds of treasures from the otherworldly battlefield, or the world of divine ruins, foreign scriptures, ancient weapons, and so on. However, all of these can only be exchanged with merit points. And merit points can only be obtained by killing the creatures of the otherworldly battlefield. Jun Xiaoyao nodded, understanding what was going on. Consider it as compensation for our young friend. You can choose one thing for free, Fourth Master Scar said. Thank you, Senior. Jun Xiaoyao did not stand on ceremony and nodded in agreement. It would be a waste not to take the opportunity for free. After Jun Xiaoyao temporarily settled down in the Imperial City, he would go to the Merit Hall to take a look. Not long after, the Kai family in the distance arrived with 2 beauties, one big and one small. Young Master, tying jade hair, saw Jun Xiaoyao and cried out loudly. Her bright red eyes were as red as coral and teary. She rushed to Jun Xiaoyao like a rabbit and threw herself into Jun Xiaoyao's arms like a swallow returning to its nest. Sob, young master, I finally see you. I don't even have the appetite to eat carrots after being separated from young master, tying jade hair said. Is that so? Then I'm really guilty. Jun Xiaoyao also smiled and rubbed tying jade hair's silver hair and furry rabbit ears. Yes, young master, so you have to compensate little you. Tying jade hair said righteously. Ow! Stroke me every day, brush my fur, and little you wants to eat a lot of carrots. Carrots, white carrots, green carrots. The little rabbit counted with her fingers. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He liked this cute pet very much. Young master, sorry to trouble you again. Yu Chanwan stepped forward, blushing and a little embarrassed. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had already saved her from the 10 princes of Jinwu. Now, she had to rely on Jun Xiaoyao to save her again. She was a little embarrassed. It's okay, it's just a small matter. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. This was indeed a small matter for him. But the trouble might not be just that. I heard from Kai Song that he has a mysterious benefactor backing him. Yu Chanwan felt a little guilty. She didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to get into more trouble. I have more than 1 or 2 enemies. It doesn't matter if there's 1 more or 1 less. Jun Xiaoyao didn't take it to heart. There was no burden on one's debts. As long as one was strong enough, there was not much difference between 1 enemy and 100 enemies. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's calm and collected appearance, Yu Chanjuan's crystal-clear eyes flashed with a trace of blurred admiration. The man's restrained confidence was really attractive. Chanwan has nothing to repay you with. I'm willing to follow you and join the Emperor's court to serve you. Yu Chanwan bowed deeply to Jun Xiaoyao. With this bow, her curves were exposed. It was dazzling white. It was shockingly big. The curve was perfect. Jun Xiaoyao finally understood why so many people coveted Yu Chanjuan's body. The sacred body of Taiyin really had a good figure. The matter came to an end. The fourth Master Scar looked at Jun Xiaoyao and said, Xiaoyao, you should stay in the Imperial City for the time being. It won't be long before the ultimate trial, the world of the ruins of God, opens again. When the time comes, I will take you there. At the same time, you'll have a difficult task. A difficult task? Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. That's right. It's even related to the survival of the border. The fourth Master Scar's words made Jun Xiaoyao's expression turn serious. It seemed that this ultimate trial was not simple. It was many times crueler than the previous epics.